Chapter 110. Chu Xiang shared many photos with the girls and even exchanged WeChat numbers with them. The girls immediately added her into a WeChat group and happily introduced her to everyone. The stars in the group knew that she was a new fan and warmly welcomed her. Then, they sent her many links and told her about Zhuo Yichen's various wonderful performances since his debut, as well as the cute, stupid, and Chinibu comments and videos. Chu Xiang realized that liking an idol was a bit like raising a pet. It was not derogatory, but the feeling of liking someone. Even if your pet was stupid, it was still cute. But if it was someone else, it would be annoying. Chu Xiang had never been very patient with people, but after the boy became her fan, she really liked him no matter how she looked at him. He was cute and she wanted to pamper him. The girl who sold the tickets to Chu Xiang previously sent her a message after the gala. "Sister, what's your Weibo? Have you posted photos?" Chu Xiang replied, "Not yet. I'm thinking about editing the photos before posting them. I haven't done the logo for the Zhanzi either." The girl sent a surprised emoticon and a voice message. "Sister, you're the Zhanzi? Aren't you a new fan? What's wrong with being a new fan?" Chu Xiang replied with a voice message. "When I saw my brother's live performance today, I really think he's great. I'm not bragging, so I'm planning to make a Zhanzi and follow his schedule in the future." "Wow, that's amazing. I also want to join my brother's activities, but I'm a student and I don't have time. Sister, do you know how to make a Zhanzi? I recommend a few of my brother's Zhanzi. You can refer to them. They're all great. Also, sister, you'll definitely post photos in a 9-square grid, right? Remember to include my brother's Zhanzi. Everyone definitely wants to see him. Your photos are so good. It's a pity that no one sees them. Oh right, I'll follow your Weibo and help you promote it. Sister, send me your Weibo account." The girl sent a bunch of messages. Chu Xiang sent her Weibo account, and she immediately exclaimed, "Sister, did you draw this? Right? Isn't this drawing too good? You're so cute. I beg you to draw a few more, please." Chu Xiang smiled and said, "I'll draw when I have time. You're too easily excited. Study hard. You can only visit your brother when you earn enough money in the future. Otherwise, how can you face your idol if your grades are not good enough? That's for sure. I'm not a die-hard fan who gets carried away in the heat of the moment. I spent all my money to buy the tickets this year. When I get into a good university next year, I'll definitely show my results to my brother. I followed you. Sister, quickly send me a photo. I've been waiting anxiously." Chu Xiang saw that the Weibo account had a neighboring fan named Zhuo Yichen's Fangirl 717. 80% of the posts on Weibo were related to Zhuo Yichen, such as ranking on the leaderboard, anti-haters, and seeking points. The remaining 20% were about her daily life. She was quite careful and did not expose her identity. Chu Xiang replied to her. After all, she was the first person she met, and it was the first time she received a live concert ticket. It was quite fate. Chu Xiang turned on her computer and quickly came up with a logo. She added the 3 capital letters ZYC in front of her signature. Then, she changed the lines of the words from black to stars. It looked especially good on the photo. The photos taken by her camera did not need much editing. Because it was close, they were all high-definition photos. Chu Xiang cut the size and added the logo before posting the first 9-grid photo. These 9 photos were taken when the group was singing together. However, she was a fan, so of course she only cut out photos of Zhuo Yichen alone. The middle photo of Zhuo Yichen smiling at the camera was especially beautiful. The left and right photos were taken when Zhuo Yichen subconsciously glanced over. Although it was not a front view, it was still very touching. The remaining 6 photos were photos of Zhuo Yichen singing or dancing to his heart's content. This time, she remembered to include a Weibo post. Once she posted it, the number of views immediately exceeded 100. Zhuo Yichen's Fangirl 717 reposted her Weibo immediately and tagged many stars she knew. Chu Xiang's Weibo account immediately popped up with comments praising the photo. Chu Xiang then filtered out 9 photos of Zhuo Yichen changing his clothes and singing alone. The middle photo was still of Zhuo Yichen smiling at the camera. This time his posture was especially handsome. It was as if the two of them had been specially taken together. The other 8 photos were of Zhuo Yichen smiling and full of vitality. He was youthful and handsome. This time, the comments came in even faster. More and more fans saw the post on the Weibo post. Many stars thought that the photo was good and reposted it, allowing more stars to see the photo. Ah, SL Yichen is so handsome. How did you take this photo? Yichen is looking at the camera. They looked at each other face to face twice. Blogger, are you quick? Did you look at him in the eye? Did he make you feel better? Lemons, 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 lemons. You and I are under the lemon tree. I'm so envious that you can look at Brother Yichen in the eye. Brother Yichen really dotes on fans. He even gave you the benefit of the camera. Blogger, how many more photos do you have? Please post them. Didn't anyone notice that this is a new account? There are 4 posts in total. The first one is a New Year's greeting. The second one is a photo of Yichen. It's so cool and beautiful. The last 2 are taken by gods. They even looked at each other. Blogger, did you change your account and start a new one? Kill me with the photo. Heart to heart. Chu Xiang realized that there was a very thick wall between those who did not chase stars and those who did. It was easy to find joy in chasing stars. The corners of one's mouth would unconsciously curl up. This was probably a very strange thing in the eyes of those who did not chase stars. It was like how people who liked pets would find them super cute, but people who did not like pets would find them troublesome. Chu Xiang seemed to have found a very fun and cute pet. She liked it no matter how she looked at it. She changed her Weibo name to ZYC Xiang. Coincidentally, Zhuo Yichen posted on Weibo, so she reposted it. ZYC Xiang, new fan. Thank you to Zhuo Yichen's fangirl 717 for giving me the ticket. Also, the Stars sisters worked hard to support me. It allowed me to take a photo of the cute little brother Chun in the second row. In the future, I will also share some beautiful photos of little brother Chun, cartoon portraits, and video clips. Thank you for liking it. Happy Lantern Festival. Also, SJ Boy, Zhuo Yichen, your glutinous rice balls will be cold if you keep looking at them. Hurry up and eat them / SJ Boy, Zhuo Yichen V. Did everyone eat glutinous rice balls today? Did you have a reunion with your family? What do you think of my bowl of glutinous rice balls? Photo. This was her Weibo to introduce herself. The stars who came to look at the photo understood that she was a new fan. Then, they were all amused by her. Ahaha, what do you mean by, your glutinous rice balls will be cold if you keep looking at them? Haha, even Big Brother Chin can be criticized by fans. Who asked you to criticize us for no reason? Hurry up and eat your glutinous rice balls. Is Chun dumbfounded? Then he started eating the glutinous rice balls in front of him. Blogger, be careful that Big Brother Chin blacklists you. He won't look at your camera in the future. The stars left happy comments after a while. After all, Chu Xiang was just a new fan. She had only posted 5 Weibo posts and did not interact with them. Therefore, there was nothing much to talk about. However, more than 100 people followed her. They probably saw that she had a telephoto lens and could spend money to sit in the front row. They hoped that they could see Zhuo Yichen's front face again in the future. The few girls at the scene also followed her. However, they did not post the photos they got from her. They kept them for themselves and did not infringe on her rights. Chu Xiang observed in the WeChat group for a while. When she saw that they were discussing the second flight, she silently noted down Zhuo Yichen's flight time. Then, she tidied up and went to bed. In a hotel not far away, 4 17-year-old teenagers gathered in Zhuo Yichen's room to eat glutinous rice balls. Xia Zhou suddenly showed Zhuo Yichen his phone and joked. Your fan wants you to eat quickly. It'll get cold if you don't eat. Zhuo Yichen looked sideways. When he saw Chu Xiang's Weibo post, he was surprised and said, Isn't this the sister I saw today? She's the one I saw when I got off the stage. She's right in front of the stage. It's so eye-catching. Geng Xian leaned back in his chair and rolled his eyes. We saw it too, okay? It's such a big banner right in front of us. Yao, your fans are really good. They know how to fight for space. You're the Yao. Eat your glutinous rice balls. It'll get cold if you don't eat it. Zhuo Yichen grabbed the paper on the table and threw it at him. He took out his phone and looked at the photos Chu Xiang took. Geng Xian caught the paper and curled his lips. He looked at the glutinous rice balls with disdain. I don't want to eat it. It's so sweet. You're the only one who likes to eat this kind of sweet stuff. You can eat it yourself. Xiaozhou, why are you looking at Yichen's fans? She won't take photos of you. Even if she did, she won't post them. Do you think everyone thinks you're handsome? Xiaozhou took out a mirror from his pocket and tidied his hair. I'm very handsome. She doesn't get it. I saw it in our group's Weibo. Yichen even looked at her. She gained a lot of fans all of a sudden. No, it's not bad. It's better than mine. It's pretty good. Zhuo Yichen saved the 2 good-looking photos of him looking at the camera. He also saved the cartoon portrait on his phone. He said proudly, she drew me a cartoon portrait of the Spring Festival Gala. It's super good. What do you think? Are you jealous? Haha. Geng Xian patted Xiaoran, who was lying on the sofa. Give him a blow. Xiaoran muttered. I'm too lazy. Don't cue him. He's so lazy that he wants to turn into a stone statue. Zhuo Yichen quickly finished the glutinous rice balls in his bowl. He took Geng Xian's bowl and continued eating. After eating a few, he restrained himself and put down the spoon. He rubbed his stomach and said regretfully, it's too late. I can't eat anymore. It's not digesting. He knocked on the table and said, when I was reviewing the performance just now, I realized that Xiaozhou didn't sing well. Xiaoran didn't keep up with the rhythm in 2 parts of her dance. Geng Xian made a mistake in his positioning. I was a little breathless. Although the mistakes weren't obvious and the audience might not be able to see them, we have to practice more when we go back and continue to strengthen our weaknesses. There are 3 popular youth groups in China right now, and we're just one of them. The 4 of us will be taking the college entrance examination for the next 2 years, so we'll be under a lot of pressure. Everyone work hard. Don't lose to others. When it came to business, the 3 of them became serious and nodded one after another. Although Zhuo Yichen's birthday was the youngest among the 4 of them, they were all the same age and were only a few months apart. Zhuo Yichen debuted a year earlier than them. He was also more mature, attentive, and responsible than them. Zhuo Yichen had always been in charge of their group's affairs. After Zhuo Yichen finished, they asked their assistants to clear the dishes and return to their rooms to rest. Zhuo Yichen lay on his bed and swiped his phone. As expected, the 4 of them were on the hot search list. In the past, there were more fans, but in the past 6 months, there were more exclusive fans. There were also more discordant voices. Xiaozhou is the most beautiful man, okay? He's practically out of a manga. Xiaoran is so ugly, but she still wears the same clothes as Xiaozhou. She's asking for humiliation. Zhou's the best dancer. Geng Xian bumped into Zhou when the performance was about to end. Was that intentional? Geng Xian's rap is super cool. He won't compete with Second Sister. Second Sister Xia, please be beautiful alone. Boss Xiao is the good-looking type. Does that make Xiaozhou a woman just because he has long hair? How is he good-looking when he's so feminine? Boss Xiao sings the best and doesn't accept rebuttals. If it weren't for Boss Xiao, would the best Zhuo Yichen be the team leader? Boss is the team leader, okay? Team leader is based on ability. Does it have anything to do with age or birthday? Did you not graduate from kindergarten? Chen Chen is the best. Can you change to another teammate? Can you guys get lost, Due? The 4 seasons will always be together. You don't know how good brothers are. You guys are so dramatic. Let's go together. New Year pictures will always support you guys. Zhuo Yichen felt a little sad when he saw the comments from the 4 of them. They had only debuted for 2 years, but there were already signs of division among their fans. The 4 of them were like brothers, but all of them were attacked by these fans. Sometimes, they only felt better when they saw the group of fans. New Year pictures. The 4 seasons together were the new year. The group of fans named it a festive New Year picture. They hoped that they could spend the future years with them and draw a New Year picture every year. He had experienced a period when he was not very popular, so he cherished this group of 4 even more. This was achieved by the 4 of them. If any one of them was missing, they would not have achieved this. He really hoped that their group could be so good forever. They could also be as close as brothers and explore the entertainment industry together. The 17-year-old boy already had a lot of things to worry about. He was very tired, but he still could not sleep. He thought about a lot of things. The next morning, he woke up with dark circles under his eyes. They were packing up and heading to the airport. On the other side, Chu Xiang was also packing her luggage and heading to the airport. Of course, she kept the support items, but she was still wearing the thin red down jacket from the night before. No matter how much time had passed, her favorite color was still red. Even the camera string hanging around her neck had exquisite red patterns. This time, she tied her long black hair into a high ponytail. She looked much more neat. She carried a backpack with her simple luggage inside. The long lens of the camera was in the bag. The airport was not so far away. She changed to a palm-length lens. The camera was much lighter when hanging on her body. This time, celebrities were attending the Lantern Festival. Some left the night before, and some stayed the night before leaving. Many of the celebrities' fans came to send them off. They gathered in groups. Chu Xiang saw more than 20 girls holding cameras like her waiting in the airport. She did not talk to them and quietly found a place to sit. When SJ Boy appeared, there was a commotion. For fans of Rao and Tuan all gathered over. The four of them were so crowded that they could not walk properly. Chu Xiang thought for a moment. She looked at the flight schedule. It was time for her to check in. She quickly walked a few steps to get off the plane before SJ Boy. Then, she stood at the entrance where she did not block the way, and turned around to take photos. The four youths finally walked over. Geng Xian looked up and saw Chu Xiang. He immediately nudged Zhuo Yichen. Zhuo Yichen looked at Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang kept pressing the shutter. At the same time, she moved to the side, indicating that she would not block them and the passers-by. The four of them quickly passed through the security check. Then, they turned around and waved goodbye to their fans, reminding them to go home as soon as possible. Chu Xiang found a direction where she could take a picture of their faces, and took a few photos. 5 of the other station sisters had followed her, and were also taking photos at a distance. They had a tacit understanding not to get too close to their idols, and cause them trouble. If their staff stopped them, they would stop taking photos. Chu Xiang did not pay attention to this when she was a celebrity. She was a little too workaholic, and left everything around her to her manager and assistant. They took care of everything very well. She remembered that there were many cameras taking photos of her wherever she went. She thought that they were all reporters, but it turned out that they were her fans. Now that she thought about it, she was not warm enough. She did not even give the fans the benefit of the camera. Fortunately, she did not quit the entertainment industry in her previous life. She never let her fans down. It was a perfect ending. When she boarded the plane, Chu Xiang was surprised to find that she was on the same flight as the 4 youths. Moreover, they were all in first class. Among the flight attendants, she was the only one who went to first class with them. Their assistants were also in economy class. There were not many people in first class. After all, the 4 youths were still young and had only debuted for 2 years. They had been protected by the company and had retained their youthful nature. After sitting down for a while, they could not help but look at her awkwardly. Chu Xiang saw them and smiled at them. What a coincidence. I didn't know that you were on the same flight. I live in the capital and I'm going back today. The cameras have been put away. They won't take any photos. Don't worry. When she mentioned that she did not know how to take photos, Zhuo Yichen was a little embarrassed. He smiled and said, "Actually, it's okay to take some photos, but don't take photos of my teammates." "Then can you sit here for a while?" Chu Xiang stood up and let Zhuo Yichen sit in her seat. There was no one there, so she quickly took a few photos before the plane took off. Zhuo Yichen naturally posed handsomely in front of the camera. She took out the camera and showed it to Zhuo Yichen. "I won't post these photos. If your staff were here just now, they would definitely ask you not to take any photos. Don't be so soft-hearted in the future. It's okay to reject them. A fan who gets angry over something like this is not a good fan." "Oh, okay." Zhuo Yichen rubbed his nose awkwardly in front of this big sister's new fan. He planned to go back to his seat. His seat was in front. As soon as he stood up, Geng Xian, who was only an aisle away from Chu Xiang, said, "Yichen, sit here. You can talk to this big sister. Geng Xian smiled at Chu Xiang and said, Big sister, you draw very well. Really? Then I'll draw one for you guys when I have time. Chu Xiang was not Du Wei, so she had a good impression of them. She smiled and agreed. Zhuo Yichen and Geng Xian switched seats and were very close to Chu Xiang. After the plane took off and the stewardess came over to deliver drinks, he felt a little awkward for a while. He felt that there was only one fan present, and it was not good to leave it hanging. He cleared his throat and asked, Big sister, are you studying art? Chu Xiang held the warm coffee cup and replied, I used to. I'm now a student at the Film and Television Academy. I'm studying editing in the directing department. I'm in my second year this year. When you go to university, I'll be in my third year. Have you thought about which school you want to go to? What do you want to study? Zhuo Yichen said in surprise. I also want to study at the Film and Television Academy. I really want to be able to direct my own movie in the future. Before he finished, Chu Xiang couldn't help but laugh. Zhuo Yichen touched his face, thinking that there was something dirty on it. What's wrong? Chu Xiang waved her hand. Nothing. I just feel that you're so naive. Why do you ask me anything? Aren't you afraid that I'm a marketing account and will run out to expose you? Zhuo Yichen was confused by her brain circuit. He posted on Weibo and asked how his glutinous rice balls looked. Other fans said, they look delicious, and I really want to be the glutinous rice balls in your bowl. This big sister said, It's going to get cold if you keep looking. Hurry up and eat. He allowed her to take photos. If it were other fans, they would definitely say, you're so handsome. This big sister said, Don't be so soft-hearted in the future. He confessed his future plans. If it were other fans, they would definitely say, It's great. This big sister said that he was too naive. Did he have some misunderstanding about fans? Was this not how he pampered his fans? Chu Xiang was charmed by his confused look. She felt that he was like a furry dog. She couldn't help but reach out and ruffle his hair. What if you're so silly and get cheated by others? You don't know my name yet. This is the second time we meet, so you have to be wary of strangers. Don't think that just because I'm your fan, I'm one of your people. 2 months ago, didn't a female celebrity's fans leave her and come back to criticize her? You have to be a good idol and treat your fans well. It's okay to give out benefits publicly, but you have to protect yourself in private. The 3 teenagers in front of him laughed at the same time. Zhuo Yichen's face turned red. He was a captain at 17 years old, and always thought of himself as an adult. In the end, he was treated like a child by his big sister who was not much older than him. Xia Zhou turned around and smiled. Big sister, we feel that we hit it off very well. We actually met 3 times in 2 days. We even saw your Weibo last night. You look very familiar. Geng Xian nodded. Big sister, you look like the kind of person with a good personality. Chu Xiang laughed and said, You won't think that way in 2 years. What can you tell? But I do have a good personality. You didn't misjudge me this time. Zhuo Yichen took the opportunity to ask, Big sister, what's your name? I saw that you are a new fan on Weibo. Why are you a fan of mine? My name is Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang showed him her phone screensaver. I thought your performance on the Spring Festival Gala was very good. Then I found your previous stage videos and saw that you improved a lot every time. I like people who are talented and improve seriously. Plus, you're so cute. Xiao Ran half reclined in her seat and looked back at them. She keenly said, Big sister, why do I feel like you're raising a cat on the cloud? It's like you've seen your favorite animal. Chu Xiang raised her eyebrows. Pretty much. Doesn't raising a cat on the cloud mean that you like the cat on the screen? Then I'm raising an idol on the cloud? Zhuo Yichen tidied up his hair and clothes and said unhappily, I'm not cute anymore, okay? I was cute when I was young, but now I'm very handsome. I don't look like a cat at all. Also, I'm the captain. Big sister, do you know how I became the captain? I have to take care of the 3 of them every day and worry so much. How is that cute? Chu Xiang held back her laughter. You're quite cute now. If you don't believe me, you can look back on your current appearance in 2 years, and you'll know that I'm telling the truth. You must be a fake fan. Zhuo Yichen pretended to get up and said jokingly, "Change seats, change seats." Geng Xian immediately said, "Okay, change seats." Zhuo Yichen sat back down and said with a smile, "Even if you're a fake fan, you're still my fan. Turn around." The few of them joked around and broke the initial awkwardness and unfamiliarity. The most important thing was that they felt comfortable, reliable, and relaxed when interacting with Chu Xiang. Therefore, even if Chu Xiang mentioned it, they didn't raise their guard against her. Instead, because of her concern, they became closer to her and treated her as an interesting older sister. The flight was very short, and they arrived at their destination in a short time. The four of them were about to meet up with their assistants when Chu Xiang picked up her bag and waved at them. "I'm leaving now. Bye." The four of them saw that the hostesses in economy class were still waiting to take pictures of them, but Chu Xiang walked away without looking back. She really did look like a fake fan. Moreover, the hostesses would always post pictures of them on Weibo immediately when they saw them off, pick them up, or at events, so that everyone would know what they had taken. During the gala, Chu Xiang only posted pictures long after the gala ended. This time, she clearly took pictures, but she didn't post a single one. She still looked like a fake hostess. The four of them left together in the nanny van. The four of them were all from the capital, and had a few days off this time around. The staff had to send them home one by one to let them reunite with their families. The four of them sat in the car. Chu Xiang didn't think that she would be a fan of Zhuo Yichen for a long time, because he was really different from other fans. He was more like a fair-skinned, rich, and beautiful girl who liked him on a whim. Zhuo Yichen felt a little disappointed because he felt that this older sister was quite nice. Perhaps they wouldn't see each other again in the future, and would go their separate ways. Chu Xiang didn't realize that she had been called a fake fan. However, she wasn't an ordinary girl to begin with. Of course, the mentality of a fan of an idol was a little different. She took the subway home and took a comfortable bath. Then, she imported all the pictures from her camera into her computer. Other hostesses had already posted pictures of Zhuo Yichen at the airport. There were quite a lot of people and he was squeezed together with the other members of the group. Actually, the overall picture wasn't very beautiful, but the fans were satisfied to see their idol's movements. Another hostess posted a picture of Zhuo Yichen waiting to board the plane. There was a teammate next to him, but the hostess photoshopped it out. This kind of solo photo was not bad and many fans shared it. Chu Xiang didn't post these. She found 4 pictures of Zhuo Yichen and posted them. One was of him smiling happily. One was of him talking to his teammate with a black face full of question marks. One was of him staring blankly ahead. And the last one was of him being shocked and staring with his eyes wide open. These 4 expressions were very vivid. Chu Xiang didn't post them directly. Instead, she drew 4 scenes and bodies in a 4-panel comic. They were all cartoon figures. Then, she dug out the heads of the 4 pictures of Zhuo Yichen and attached them to the cartoon bodies. The 4-panel comic suddenly became very interesting. Coupled with the dialogue box and text, it immediately became an interesting story. Chu Xiang posted the 4-panel comic with the caption, "The cutest younger brother is probably the one who grew up eating cuteness sjmian. Zhuo Yichen had just followed Chu Xiang. When he saw the comic that looked like an emoji pack, he collapsed weakly on the back seat. "Io, why am I the cutest one? I'm not cute at all." "What?" Geng Xian stretched his head to look at his phone, and burst out laughing. "My sister is so good. You'll be a cute boy living in a comic from now on, haha." Let me see. Xiaozhou grabbed the phone and leaned on Xiaoran to look at it with him. He laughed and said, "Your fan is amazing. We're still stuck in a traffic jam, and she's already drawn a masterpiece. Yichen, how does it feel to be lacking a boy?" "What do you mean by being a boy? I'm a man." Zhuo Yichen got up and grabbed the phone back. He smiled and gave Chu Xiang a like and replied, "The comic is cute, but Yichen isn't cute, he's going to be an adult soon." After replying, he muttered, "She must be a fake fan." Geng Xian couldn't stop laughing. "Stop pretending. Look at how you're laughing. Io, you can't even suppress the corners of your mouth. Go away, go away." Zhuo Yichen pushed him away with a smile and saved the 4-panel comic on his phone. He had a lot of fans. In the beginning, when he didn't have many fans, he was familiar with the fans who often wrote him letters and picked him up at the airport. Every time he saw them, he would smile and greet them. He would also post the gifts they sent him on Weibo. Later, when he had too many fans, he would follow the staff and not respond to them in order to avoid unnecessary trouble. In fact, he was familiar with the fans who often appeared in his comments section and his various Weibo accounts. When he saw good photos and edited videos of himself, he would save them. His Weibo account would also pay attention to some fans that he felt were more important to him. He wanted to see what they thought of his activities, whether they were disappointed in him, and whether they were particularly concerned about something and stopped being his fan. Now Chu Xiang had also become a fan that he felt was a little special. Chu Xiang became his fan because he performed well and was willing to work hard to improve himself. If Chu Xiang stopped being his fan one day, he would like to know the reason. Chu Xiang didn't notice the comments on Zhuo Yichen's account. The 4-panel comic she posted was so funny that it was reposted many times by Xingqian. The number of comments soon exceeded 1,000. Previously, there were people who questioned whether she was a fan of Weibo and why she didn't post a picture of an airport. They saw that the 4-panel comic was funnier and asked her to post more of such comics. When Chu Xiang saw that everyone liked it so much, she took a good look at the 4-panel comic she made on a whim. Suddenly, she found the shortcomings of her serialized comic. It would be better if she changed her style to this kind of comic. It was like breaking through a bottleneck. Previously, she only treated the serialized comic as a hobby. Now, she immediately had the inspiration to start a new comic. She quickly wrote an outline of the overall story structure and the distribution of the funny points. Then she started to draw the new comic. It didn't take long for her to draw several drafts. She directly uploaded the new one and refunded the old one. She found joy in drawing. Remembering that she had promised Geng Xian to draw for them on the plane, she drew a cartoon picture of the 4 of them hugging each other. In the picture, the 4 of them were laughing very happily. The background picture was drawn with light colors and a blending gradient technique, with the 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Then, under their feet, the word forever was written in beautiful flowery font. She didn't sign her name. After she finished drawing, she directly sent a private message to Zhuo Yichen and asked him to share it with the other members. She didn't care whether Zhuo Yichen would see the private message or not. Anyway, she was happy with the drawing and sent it out. Zhuo Yichen was on vacation. Chu Xiang didn't have much to do to chase after celebrities. Every time she hit the charts, she would do some statistics. Then she would study books on editing. She also started to take on some private editing jobs. At first, she took on some simple promotional videos, which didn't make much money. However, she was good at editing. Gradually, more difficult jobs came to her, and the price also increased. In addition, her new comic was very popular. She was stable in making money. When editing for others, the other party would always have a lot of requirements. An outsider would guide an expert. They would always have their own ideas. It was very difficult to serve them. However, this was also part of the job. Even if she edited a movie in the future, the director would have a lot of ideas. She would treat it as practice in advance. She could always find a balance between the two sides. Just like in business negotiations, she had never lost in this aspect. After Chu Xiang got used to the part-time job, she used her silver tongue to convince the client again and again. She made the results of the labor go according to her wishes to the greatest extent. Sure enough, it was much more comfortable. After working for half a month, SJ Boy started to film a variety show. This type of group independent variety show was introduced from overseas. It seems to be to solidify the group's fans and also to highlight the group's soul and each member's strengths to attract new fans. The first episode of the variety show was filmed outdoors. It was winter break, and they were going to Ice City in the north to ski and watch the ice lanterns. The 4 of them had never been to Ice City before. When they were filming the trailer, they were very excited and looking forward to it. This type of public itinerary was something that could be filmed by Zhang Jia. Chu Xiang had not started school yet, and when she saw the news, she immediately booked a flight to Ice City. She had never played in the snow castle before. She felt that after becoming a fan of a young idol, she had also become more playful. She went to the snow castle alone and played for 3 days. She toured the entire snow castle. When the 4 of them alighted from the plane and left the airport, Zhuo Yichen glanced at them and saw a Zhang Jie wearing a red woolen coat. Her camera was red in color, and he looked at her for a while. Chu Xiang quickly pressed the shutter a few times and captured the moment when their eyes met. She then put down the camera and smiled at him. Zhuo Yichen was surprised and smiled. Chu Xiang immediately took a picture of him smiling. After that, Zhuo Yichen was escorted out of the airport by the staff. Chu Xiang also went out to hail a taxi. Xiazhou saw Zhuo Yichen looking out of the car window and said, "There's nothing to see here. When we reach the place, it will be filled with ice. It's a big ice castle." "I am not looking at the scenery." "Then what are you looking at? Do you all still remember the fan who took the same flight with us? I saw her just now. She is here to pick us up. Isn't her house in Beijing? She must have come to Ice City to pick us up." Zhuo Yichen looked out of the car window again. He only stopped when the car had left. Geng Xian joked, "She is here to pick you up, not us. She had promised to draw for us the last time, but she only drew you, and it was a 4-panel comic. I wonder what kind of comic she will draw this time. I am jealous." Zhuo Yichen laughed and said, "You're depressed. Of course, my fans will only draw pictures for me." Chapter 111. The 4 boys had never been to Bing City before, and they were attracted by the snowy scenery on the streets. There were no leaves on the trees by the roadside, unlike in Beijing, where the trees were green all year round. But the snow on the trees was a different kind of beauty compared to the green leaves. It was especially beautiful. Zhuo Yichen's sharp eyes caught sight of a bicycle's spokes covered in snow. He immediately shouted excitedly, "Look at that! That bicycle, wow, it's so beautiful!" Where? Geng Xian immediately leaned on his shoulder and looked out of the window. He said in surprise, "It looks like a work of art. Wow, I never knew bicycle wheels could be so beautiful. Look at the eaves over there. There are ice skates, but they are not as long as the pictures online." Xiazhou complained, "This is the main street, and there must be many people cleaning it. Those who can see these must have picked up some leftovers. When we get to the snow castle, we will see everything." Even the laziest Xiaoran sat up. Although she was too lazy to talk, her eyes were staring out the window. Zhuo Yichen drew the letters ZYC on the window with his finger and smiled. "I like winter. This time I can finally experience the snow. I will take a picture and post it on Weibo tonight. The ice lanterns are so beautiful. Help me take a good picture. I want to share it with my fans." Xiazhou turned his head and saw the letters he wrote on the window. He joked, "You added Xiang to the letter, and she is your fake fan sister. Don't worry, there will be a show tonight. Fake fan sister will definitely go to the front line to take pictures of you. She will definitely look good in the pictures. You can ask her for pictures." "What? What fake fan sister? Aren't you the one who thinks she is a fake fan?" "I can do it, but you can't. Can't you see that she is my true fan? When I get into university, she will be my senior. We might even collaborate on research projects in the future." Zhuo Yichen hugged the seat in front of him and rested his chin on it. He opened Weibo on his phone and said, "Let's see if she has posted any pictures." Xiaoran put on the hood of her down jacket and leaned against the seat. She closed her eyes and muttered, "Maybe she will have stopped being a fan by then." Zhuo Yichen snorted, "That's impossible. I'm improving every day, okay? I won't give her a chance to stop being a fan." He opened Chu Xiang's Weibo with his account and saw that Chu Xiang had already posted 9 squares. The staff beside him were slightly blurred out. Only his hair could be seen clearly in high definition. However, the dark circles under his eyes were gone. Chu Xiang had seriously fixed them. All 9 pictures were of him smiling, and the one in the middle was still of him looking at the camera. He remembered that he had smiled at her at that time, but Chu Xiang had sent him a picture that looked like he had inadvertently looked up at her. He was puzzled for a moment. Suddenly he had an epiphany. Based on the way this sister's brain worked, she must have carefully selected the pictures. The reason why he had a smile on every picture was because there was once a fan who posted a picture of him with a cooler expression. There were haters who criticized him for throwing a tantrum at his fans, and saying that the fans who came to pick him up were annoying. These pictures were all of him smiling. Other than the staff, he could also see that there was a group of fans. Naturally, he was smiling at the fans. It was very likable. As for the picture of him looking at the camera, she did not send it with a smile. She only sent it as if she had inadvertently looked up at it. She was probably afraid that the other fans would feel uncomfortable, or that the fans would speculate. After all, he had just seen her in the picture at the Lantern Festival. This way, the haters would not fabricate rumors about him flirting with her fans. After Zhuo-Yichen thought about it, he felt that Chu Xiang must have meant this. He silently liked the picture and smiled. He admitted that she was not a fake fan. She was a fan who cared about him and wanted to protect him. When he participated in the singing competition at the age of 14, he met mostly heartwarming fans. However, now that he was 17, he met mostly fans who praised him and had a lot of bad intentions. When he thought about Chu Xiang's advice to him to protect himself, he actually felt very warm. He was already looking forward to the show's filming at night. Knowing that there would be fans who liked him watching, he instinctively wanted to perform better. Chu Xiang indeed planned to go to the show's filming location at night. She had already been here for 3 years, and was very experienced. When she went, she packed a bunch of heat pads in her bag, and even got a plush heat pad that could be charged with a power bank. The camera was afraid of the cold, so she also got a red furry coat for the camera. When not in use, she could cover the lens. The anti-freezing effect was very good and matched her coat very well. This variety show was SJ's own variety show. The main purpose was to let them show off their strengths in eating, drinking, and having fun. Therefore, they started filming while they were still in the car. The 4 of them looked through the car window and saw the ice lanterns coming closer and closer. Everyone had a shocked expression on their faces. We're looking at ice lanterns here? This is a manor, right? This is a city. Look at those towers. They're really towers. They're made of ice. Wow, it's so spectacular. Are we there yet? Stop the car, stop the car. Let's get out quickly. Zhuo-Yichen grabbed his hat and was the first to jump out of the car. He exclaimed, "Wow, it's so cold." He hurriedly put on his hat and turned around to remind them, "Wear your hats properly and buckle your collars before getting out. It's super cold. Let's go, let's run." He ran excitedly towards the towering ice gate and shouted, "Ice Lantern Show, we're here." His teammates followed closely behind him with smiles on their faces. "Wait for us." Chu Xiang and the 6 station girls stood at a distance on both sides of the gate, so that it wouldn't affect the filming. There were also some fans and onlookers nearby. When she saw Zhuo-Yichen's appearance, she laughed and picked up her camera to take many photos of him. How could he call himself an adult when he was clearly still a child? The 4 of them ran to the gate and had to look up to see the roof of the gate. There were lights of various colors shining on the ice, and it looked especially beautiful. The 4 of them stood at the gate and talked about their understanding of the ice lanterns. They had only heard about them or seen pictures on the internet. None of them had seen it before. Just the huge block of ice at the gate was enough to shock them. The 4 of them couldn't help but peek inside as they talked. Then, they looked at each other and laughed at the same time. Zhuo-Yichen clapped his hands and said, "Good. Everyone doesn't want to talk here anymore. We can't wait to see the ice city inside. Then let's go in now. We'll walk clockwise and don't miss a single spot, okay?" "Okay, let's go and see what's so fun." The 4 of them shouted and 3 of them rushed out like cannonballs. Xiaoran walked slowly behind them and said to the camera, "I used up all my energy running just now. I plan to walk slowly. There's no rush. They have to wait for me anyway." After running for a while, Zhuo-Yichen turned back and saw that Xiaoran wasn't following. He immediately stopped and shouted, "Xiaoran, come quickly. There's a big slide here. It's all made of ice. Let's go up." Xiaoran shivered when he saw it and shook his head. "No, whoever likes it can go up. No, the SJ boys must be together." Zhuo-Yichen laughed and joked. He patted the other 2 and pointed at Xiaoran. The three of them immediately rushed back and lifted Xiaoran up. Haha, let's go. The tacit understanding between them didn't even need to be spoken. With a look and a movement, the three of them carried Xiaoran and rushed towards the slide. The staff all ran after them, and even the aerial camera chased after them. Chu Xiang had a telephoto lens. No matter how far away she was, she could still take a clear shot. Even if she took a photo of a sesame-sized person in the scenery, she could still cut out the high-definition photo, as if it was taken at close range. Therefore, she didn't need to run. She walked slowly and found a good angle to take a few photos from time to time. There was a woman who was closer to her and asked, "Which family are you from?" "Zhuoyichen," Chu Xiang replied briefly. "I'm from Xiaoran's family. Zhuoyichen is a great captain. I was really afraid that Xiaoran would be strolling around leisurely. If that happened, I would only be able to take a bunch of similar photos. Luckily, Zhuoyichen brought him over. The captain can always take photos of Mushroom, and the other two." The women were very rational fans. Because they were the closest fans to their idols. They knew what their idols were like and how close the four teenagers were to each other. Therefore, they never criticized the others. The women in the SJ boy group were very friendly with each other. Chu Xiang smiled and said, "They have a good relationship and love to play. I'm sure we'll be able to take a lot of photos tonight. I didn't know I liked taking photos so much." "Hey, how is this liking taking photos?" "This is liking them. I didn't do these things in the past. Because I liked Xiaoran, I learned how to take photos, Photoshop, and edit videos. It's all because of love." The woman burst into laughter. "Isn't it mushy? But in the past, I really didn't take photos of beautiful scenery. I didn't even like to take selfies. My friends were all amazed at how idolizing a celebrity can change a person." "It's true." Chu Xiang nodded in agreement. Seeing the teenagers roll and crawl to the end of the slide, she called the woman. "Let's go over there. It's easy to lose them if it's too far. These four kids are too good at running. You're not old either. How can you treat them like kids? Don't tell me you're her fan?" "I'm a big sister fan. Seeing them so lively makes me feel like I'm a few years older." Chu Xiang smiled and quickened her pace to keep up with the four teenagers. She couldn't be a mommy fan. She had no feelings for children in the previous generation. Even these cute little brothers were cuter in this life. It was as if she was looking at her little brothers happily playing around. The four teenagers went to climb the ice tower. The four of them squeezed together and poked their heads out of the tower's window. Their faces were brimming with excitement. They waved vigorously at the camera below as if they were greeting the audience, celebrating their success in climbing the tower. Zhuoyichen looked around and said in amazement, "It's so beautiful here. It's stunning. You can't get this feeling anywhere else. Can you believe it's all made of ice? 9 zigzag bridges, pavilions, 9-story towers, churches, castles. Wow, there are several carriages made of ice over there, and the 12 zodiac signs." They pointed out anything that looked good to their teammates and then took out their phones. Zhuoyichen said, "Help me take photos of this side. We have to take photos of all these scenes. That side is beautiful. Look at those ice slides. There are so many of them, so long and so beautiful. They're like a frozen waterfall. Then let's take a few photos of each side." Zhuoyichen stuffed the phone into Xiaozhou's hand. "Come, let the most narcissistic selfie take a few photos for me. Make sure they look good." Xiaozhou leaned against the window and looked down. He looked around and saw Chu Xiang and laughed. Considering that the microphone was on him, he smiled vaguely. "Don't worry about your photos. Any one of them is a masterpiece." When Zhuoyichen heard the word masterpiece, he thought of Chu Xiang. He turned his back to the camera and gave Xiaozhou a look, telling him not to mention it. Then he leaned against the side and posed. "I'm born handsome. Can't help it. Take a good photo. I want to send it to my Xingchen." Xiaozhou helped him take a few photos. Then they changed to take photos of each other. This was probably the first time they took so many photos spontaneously. Ice City was so beautiful that they all wanted to keep their photos as a memento. After that, they went skating. The four of them had never skated before on a very large ice rink. They wore their own shoes and skated casually. As soon as they got on the ice, They all fell together. Then they got up and continued to skate. Then you pushed me, I pushed you, pulling at each other, slipping forward unsteadily, and in a little while fell together again. Xiao Ran pushed them until they were stacked together in a human pyramid. Then he laid on top and said, "Revenge. Let's lift me up." Zhuo Yichen was at the bottom. He pushed them and laughed. "Get up quickly. You're like dead pigs. The three of you are not allowed to eat supper in the future." Geng Xian pulled his hat and covered his face. He rubbed his face and said, "You're the one who eats the most. You don't want to let us eat because you want to monopolize it, right? I think you'll become a big fatty sooner or later." Zhuo Yichen suddenly threw himself out and rolled out with brute force. He got up and ran to the skateboard shouting, "Are you stupid? Are you lying there waiting to catch a cold? I'm going to play. I don't care about you guys anymore." Xiaozhou and Geng Xian got up at the same time and pulled Xiao Ran. Then they ran to grab the skateboard together. The four of them played together again. They even used a rope to drag a big tire. One pulled the other forward. When they reached the snow, they even had a snowball fight. Their laughter never stopped. Chu Xiang used her telephoto lens to take photos of Zhuo Yichen from afar. She could see him very clearly. She saw that the button on Zhuo Yichen's collar was accidentally torn off by Geng Xian. His collar was slightly open and could not be closed. He did not notice it. During the snowball fight, a lot of snow fell into his collar. He only shivered twice to get the snow out. After a while, he went crazy. He did not even care that his hat had fallen off. He ran over to grab Xiaozhou. The temperature in Bingqing was already low. The temperature in the world of ice and snow was even lower. It was super cold. Within a few minutes, Zhuo Yichen's ears and face were red from the cold. Chu Xiang frowned slightly. A 17-year-old boy had a strong body and did not care much about the cold. They were filming variety shows, so their pants were not thick. They would sweat easily when they ran. They would catch a cold if they changed between the cold and the hot in this place. It was fine if they covered themselves tightly. If Zhuo Yichen was like this, he would probably feel uncomfortable when he returned home. She saw that the staff were busy filming and laughing with the boys. They probably had not come here to play so crazily before, and did not have much experience. She quickly walked over to Zhuo Yichen's assistant, and called out to him from a distance, "Dong Dong." Dong turned around and was surprised to see her. He walked over and asked, "Hello, what's the matter?" Chu Xiang passed the backpack to him and said, "Chen can't be like this. He will definitely catch a cold when he returns home. Later, when they're resting, stick a few more thermal pads on them. Put one on their stomach, waist, back, thighs, and legs through their clothes. Also, let him hug this thermal pad when he is resting to warm his hands, face, and ears. It's very useful. Put on the hat for him." Dong looked at Zhuo Yichen, who was still playing, and said hesitantly, "It's not that serious. I will remind him to put on the hat, and buy him a cup of hot drink. I can't accept your gift." Chu Xiang stuffed the bag into his hands. "It's not like it's anything strange. Hurry up and let him use it. I've been playing here for 3 years and met a few locals. These are all the things that they've told me. It's never wrong to be more careful." Chu Xiang had just finished when she saw the 4 boys lying on the snow in exhaustion. Then, Zhuo Yichen propped himself up and wanted to go to another place. The director gestured to them to take a break and go to the bathroom. They would continue filming from another location later. Zhuo Yichen went to pick up his hat and put it on his head. He immediately took it off and exclaimed, "Oh, I was sweating just now. Now the inside of the hat is frozen. It's mine." Chu Xiang took off her earmuffs and stuffed them into Dong's hands. "Hurry up and go. Little brother Chun is freezing." Chu Xiang gave him a push and quickly retreated. She turned around and walked away. Dong did not call out to her. When he saw Zhuo Yichen covering his collar, he hesitated for a moment and quickly ran over to him. He put the warm earmuffs on his head and stuffed the thermal pad into his arms. Zhuo Yichen blankly hugged the heart-shaped thermal pad. His hands warmed up instantly. "Brother Dong, you are so considerate today. When did you prepare these?" Dong pulled him towards the bathroom and lifted his chin. "Of course I'm not that considerate. Your sister gave them to you. When she saw that you were cold, She asked me to put a thermal pad on you and carry the thermal pad. She even gave you her earmuffs. My sister. Zhuo Yichen glanced around casually and saw Chu Xiang in a red coat. She was quite eye-catching. He said, Chu Xiang gave them to me? What about her? No, you have to return them to her. She's a girl and is more afraid of the cold. Zhuo Yichen was about to take off his earmuffs when Dong quickly stopped him. My lord, are you really not afraid of rumors? There are so many people here, and there are a few other sisters. Keep a low profile. If you give them to her again, she definitely won't want them. She will definitely catch a cold and have a fever. You have to treat her immediately. She cares about you. You can't let her down, right? Let's go to the bathroom. I'll put them on for you. Your fan told me where to put them. Zhuo Yichen looked at Chu Xiang a few more times worriedly. Chu Xiang happened to take a photo of his eyes when he looked over. In the past, people always laughed at the description of eyes. Eyes were just like that. How could there be such a gaze? However, people's gazes were indeed different when they were in different moods. When she was an actress, she could convey her strong emotions to the audience through the screen without doing anything. Just like now, she could clearly see Zhuo Yichen's apologetic and worried expression through the telephoto lens. He was afraid that she would catch a cold without those things. Actually, she was just playing around. As long as she circulated the spiritual energy in her body, it was as if she had her own air conditioner. She could only feel a little cold here. It was on a completely different level from how cold they were. However, her brother knew how to worry about her. Of course, he was much better than those idols who accepted their fans' goodwill with a clear conscience. Zhuo Yichen was pasted 9 warm stickers in the bathroom. He was speechless and kept rejecting them. Dong brought up Chu Xianglai. These were the fans' good intentions. Chu Xiang had instructed them to put the warm stickers in places. If he felt uncomfortable after the incident, Dong would be blamed by Chu Xiang. In fact, Dong was just teasing him. Zhuo Yichen was a little domineering. Dong did not expect him to compromise. However, Zhuo Yichen had always cherished his fans. He actually asked Dong to put 9 warm stickers on him. 1 on his back, 1 on his back, 1 on his stomach, 1 on each side of his arms, 1 on each front of his thighs, and 1 on each side of his stomach. They were really fully equipped. Zhuo Yichen felt warm all over, including his ears, which were covered by the plush earmuffs from the cold earlier. He was not cold at all now. After pasting the warm stickers, he could not believe it. There are so many of them. There won't be any problems, right? I didn't do it. Why didn't you ask me just now? Zhuo Yichen had already put on his clothes. If there was a problem with the warm stickers, wouldn't he have to take them off again? Dong scratched his head. I asked. Chu Xiang told me that the warm stickers she bought are not hot. It's not good to put too many warm stickers. However, you have been in the cold for a long time. Moreover, you will be back in half a day. So, it's fine to put them on. When it's warm in the car, you can tear a few of them off. Then why did you ask? Let's go out. I was worried that there would be a problem. We are not that close to Chu Xiang. Dong muttered, and ran over to put the microphone back on Zhuo Yichen. The 3 brothers had been waiting outside for a few minutes. When they saw him, they complained. Did you fall in the toilet? What have you been doing for so long? Zhuo Yichen laughed. I'm not telling you. Let's go, let's continue recording. The sooner we finish, the sooner we can go back. Geng Xian rubbed his chin and looked at him suspiciously. Something's wrong with you. You look like you have gained a lot of benefits. Hey, what's wrong with your earmuffs? They're fluffy and white. Where did you get them? Geng Xian reached out to touch them, but Zhuo Yichen tilted his body and dodged. Don't touch them. My ears are freezing if you touch them. Let's go. Zhuo Yichen passed the heat pack to Dong and ran away. At the same time, he asked them to turn on the microphone. After turning on the microphone, Geng Xian and the others did not say anything. They looked at each other, and could only chase after him. In the end, they realized that Zhuo Yichen seemed to be on fire. He was not afraid of the cold at all. He burped as if he was on a stage. He kept laughing. Chu Xiang also noticed that Zhuo Yichen looked in her direction many times. This was the benefit of the camera. If the fans knew, they would die of jealousy. The four boys played for more than half an hour and finally finished exploring the entire ice world. The best thing about being a teenager was that they would never feel tired and would always be full of energy. But it was too cold. They could withstand it, but the crew could not. After they had shot enough material, the director signaled for the four of them to finish their closing remarks at the entrance. They still had a day to play in Ice City, eat delicious food and soak in the hot springs. The four boys hugged each other because of the cold. Zhuo Yichen faced the camera and said, "I've had a lot of fun today. Tomorrow, I will try all the delicious food here and soak in the hot springs. Now let's get in the car and go back to our accommodation." "Let's go." The four boys rushed to the car. When Zhuo Yichen reached the entrance, he turned back and said mischievously, "I'm afraid that we will have to stay here. After all, there are so many houses here." The recording stopped when they got into the car. Zhuo Yichen quickly got out of the car and patted Dong. "Did you see Chu Xiang? I want to thank her and return her things." Dong also looked around and shook his head. "No, she's wearing red. She's fluffy and very conspicuous. She doesn't look like a cherry blossom. Forget it. Let's meet again in the future. I'm freezing. Get in the car." Zhuo Yichen hesitated and said, "Should we drive and look for her? She must be freezing. It's so cold." Dong pushed him into the car and said, "It's not suitable. Your filming is over. She must have gone back to the hotel." "Oh yes, you still have a schedule tomorrow. She will definitely come. I will look for her then. Let's go." Xia Zhou yawned. When he saw them getting into the car, he asked curiously, "Yichen, what are you doing? What's wrong?" Zhuo Yichen sat back in his seat and fiddled with the plush earmuffs. He shook his head and said, "Nothing. I just want to see if Chu Xiang is still around." Geng Xian pointed at the earmuffs and heat packs in surprise. "Chu Xiang gave you these? So nice. Your sister Fan is so nice to you." Dong agreed. "Don't say that. This girl is more attentive than me. She even asked me to put 9 heat packs on Yichen. By the way, Yichen, it's warm in the car now. Tear off whatever you can." Xia Zhou and Geng Xian looked at each other. At the same time, they put their hands on Zhuo Yichen's body and lifted his clothes to look for the heat packs. Sure enough, they found several. "No wonder you're not afraid of the cold. I thought you were really good at fighting. It turns out you have equipment." Geng Xian helped him tear off the heat packs and said sourly, "I'm jealous again. Why haven't I enjoyed this treatment before?" Zhuo Yichen smiled and pushed them away. "First of all, you have to have a particularly good sister Fan." He leaned back in his seat and rested. He took out his phone and was about to use his main Weibo account to send a private message to Chu Xiang to thank her. He clicked on the chat interface with Chu Xiang and suddenly realized that Chu Xiang had sent him a private message before. She had also sent him a picture. She had drawn it for the four of them and gave it to them to use wherever they wanted. She also asked him to help share it with the other teammates. He saw that the date of the message was when they were on the same flight. That was more than half a month ago. He could not help but feel a little annoyed. Chu Xiang had drawn such a beautiful picture for him, but he did not even see it. He immediately sent a few messages to Chu Xiang. "Thank you for today. You must be freezing. There were too many people at that time. I didn't dare to look for you because I didn't want to trouble you. Sister, have you returned to your place? It's so late and you're alone. Let me know when you see the message." "Sister, I just saw the picture you sent. Sorry. The picture is really good and beautiful. I really like it." "Oh yes, I'm completely fine. Sister, your thermal pads are amazing. My earmuffs are also very warm. They're all working hard for me. I feel warm now. I'm not cold at all. I definitely won't catch a cold. Don't worry. Sister, remember to tell me that you're safe." Chu Xiang was listening to music with her earphones on. She did not look at the notifications when she heard them. She thought that they were notifications from the comments on Weibo. After returning to the hotel, she went to take a bath. She planned to relax and start editing the picture. Zhuo Yichen had been waiting for Chu Xiang's reply. Normally, fans would reply to their idol's private messages within seconds. However, he waited and waited. He waited until the car drove back to the villa, took a bath, and finished his supper. However, Chu Xiang did not reply. Geng Xian rolled his eyes when he saw that Hua Yichen was scrolling through his phone. It's rare to see you like this. Why are you scrolling through Weibo? What are you doing? Didn't you send Chu Xiang a private message to thank her? Hua Yichen did not raise his head and said, if she says anything, I'll definitely reply. Xiao Zhou looked at him with his chin in his hand. Yichen, are you poisoned? Why are you so persistent? She'll definitely give you a hint if she replies. Even if you miss it, you can read it again tomorrow. I can't follow her. How can I get a hint? She sent me a private message more than half a month ago. I only saw it today. Hua Yichen shook his head and put down his phone. Why can't I secretly follow her on Weibo? It's too inconvenient. Xiao Ran lay on the sofa with her eyes closed. What did she send you half a month ago? Hua Yichen was stunned. He smiled and said, oh, I forgot to tell you. Sister Chu Xiang drew a cartoon for us. It's really nice. Look. Hua Yichen found the picture and showed it to them. Geng Xian grabbed his phone and reprimanded him. How dare you keep something good to yourself? How can you forget about this kind of group drawing? Hua Yichen shrugged and joked. It's okay if you forget about it. Please remember that this is my fan. Didn't you see that the group drawing was only sent to me? I shared it with you guys. The three of you are just incidental. Look at how proud you are. Geng Xian sent the picture to the group of four and praised. It's really nice. This sister put a lot of effort into drawing it. Look, not only is the background of the 4 seasons, but the patterns on our clothes are also related to the 4 seasons. Yichen, look at the snowflakes on your clothes. Mine is a maple leaf. I saw it a long time ago. Why don't you see who drew it? Hua Yichen felt an inexplicable sense of pride. It was as if he was proud that his fan was so awesome. Even if he found any of the sisters familiar, it was impossible for him to become familiar with them so quickly. He even felt close to them. However, Chu Xiang was natural to him. He felt as if he was more familiar with her than the other sisters who had been following him for a long time. However, they had chatted and laughed together before. It was only right for them to be familiar with each other. Hua Yichen looked at the picture and suddenly said, how about we change our profile picture to this? Haven't there been more and more poisons recently? Let's use our own people as profile pictures, and let the group's official Weibo use this picture. What do you think? We have to give our fans some confidence and let the New Year's picture know that we won't be disbanded. Sure, this looks good. You really know how to give your fan sister benefits. She will be happy to see this. That's good. It's mutual. My fans spoil me and I have to spoil my fans too. I'll check with the company tomorrow. If there's no problem, I'll change it. Hua Yichen got up with a glass of hot water and said, I'm going back to my room. Sleep early. We'll eat good food tomorrow. Xiao Zhou smiled and said, it's your favorite food. It's your day to celebrate tomorrow. Hua Yichen smiled at the thought of eating so many local delicacies. He went back to his room and played a song. Then he lay in bed and sent a private message to Chu Xiang. Sister, have you returned to your place safely? He remembered that fans would leave together with their idols after the trip. He did not know if Chu Xiang had left with other fans. Chu Xiang was a new fan, and might not be familiar with them. He was a little worried that he had not received a reply in the middle of the night. He lay in bed and stared at his phone. On the other hand, Chu Xiang had just finished editing the picture. She was finally attracted by the notification on her phone. The moment she opened her Weibo, she saw a long string of messages from Hua Yichen. I just saw it. I went back to the hotel a long time ago. Why are you still awake? It's already 1 in the morning. You have to wake up early to record the program tomorrow, right? Hua Yichen finally received a reply. He smiled and typed with his chin propped up. I'm waiting for your reply. I'm fine. I didn't catch a cold. I returned to the hotel safely. Brother Yichen, you're indeed the captain. You're so caring. Chu Xiang was warmed by her idol's brother. She smiled and went into bed to type. I can't compare to you, sister. Thank you for the gift. I didn't catch a cold at all. Ming, are you coming? I'll return the bag to you. There's no need. There are so many people. It's troublesome. I still have some use for it. Chu Xiang thought of the next day's schedule and sent another message. We're going to eat delicious food tomorrow. Are you very happy? I've already eaten. I recommend double-cooked pork, boiled potato slices, pig slaughtered vegetables, salted sausages, carrot sweet potatoes, pickled vegetables, roasted cold noodles, tofu, and pure milk snow bricks. They're very delicious. This is really. Zhuo Yichen felt that he was drooling. He turned around and smiled helplessly. Sister. I just had supper. When I saw your message, I felt hungry again. You know that I love to eat, but you still. Are you doing this on purpose? Yes, that's right. Alright, go to sleep. Otherwise, Ming won't have the energy to film. Adjust the temperature of the air conditioner. Have a good rest. Chu Xiang looked at the time and hurriedly urged him to rest. Then, she suddenly thought of Xiao Ran's cat in the cloud. It looked quite similar. Zhuo Yichen thought of the portrait and hurriedly said, Sister, I showed them the portrait that you drew for the four of us. I think it's very beautiful. Can we use this portrait as our profile picture? Of course. I drew it for you. It's good that you like it. Zhuo Yichen swiped the screen and looked at the long conversation between the two of them. He thought about what had happened after they met. After hesitating for a moment, he sent a message. Sister, my account can't be connected to yours. It's very inconvenient. Let's add each other on WeChat. Okay. Chu Xiang sent her WeChat name card to him. The two of them quickly became friends on WeChat. Zhuo Yichen sent her a WeChat message. Sister, you've worked hard today. Rest early. Good night. Good night. Zhuo Yichen looked at Chu Xiang's profile picture on WeChat. This was the first fan that he had added on WeChat. This sister was indeed a very special fan. In the future, she would be his senior. He wondered if she would still be his fan when that time came. Zhuo Yichen finally settled the things that he had been worried about. He could finally sleep peacefully. Before he went to sleep, he saw the neatly arranged backpack, heat packs, and plush earmuffs on the sofa next to him. Yes, just looking at them made him feel warm. Chapter 112. Sure enough, Zhuo Yichen was the most active during the second food trip. Every time he ordered at a place, he would check his phone. His teammates teased him that he had found a strategy in advance. He smiled but did not say anything. He silently tasted all the food that Chu Xiang had recommended to him. His expression was extremely satisfied. Chu Xiang took many photos of him. She smiled when she looked at them. These photos could make a series of emoticons for Zhuo Yichen. His expressions were too rich. Some of the photos from the variety show could be posted, but most of them could not as they were afraid of leaking the show's content. This variety show, Winter Vacation Travels, was likely to be the last variety show for the youth group, so the company took it very seriously. From the beginning, fans were not allowed to watch, and the schedule was kept secret. However, they did not stop the fans who were familiar with them. They only asked them not to leak the photos and could only post them after the variety show aired. This was another kind of relationship between the company and the fans. Because there was a certain level of trust, the company would give them some benefits. Sometimes, they would even give them internal tickets to the celebrities' activities and reveal some of their itineraries. Sometimes, when the company needed them, they would even buy pictures and videos from them. If the fans had any important matters, they could contact the company and pass the news to the celebrities. However, only the fans who were trusted by the company could receive such treatment. Since the second shoot, the fans were only left with 2 fans and Chu Xiang. Zhuo Yichen talked to the staff to keep Chu Xiang. As for Chu Xianglai, she could post photos even if she did not leak the show's content. She knew how to draw. After taking so many good photos of Zhuo Yichen, she was full of inspiration for her comics. She directly used Zhuo Yichen's various emoticons to serialize her comics. Every time she updated her Weibo, she would complete a story in 3 to 5 days. It was short and interesting like a joker. Her comics were very good, and the protagonist's character was very good. After using Zhuo Yichen's face, it was unexpectedly very cute. Once it started serializing, it attracted a lot of attention from Xingchen, and Chu Xiang's fan count skyrocketed. Since no one had ever done something like this before, and Constellation reposted it in large numbers. This incident instantly became a trending topic. Chu Xiang's manga had highlighted many of Zhuo Yichen's strengths, causing many passers-by's impression of Zhuo Yichen to change from a member of a youth group to a lively and interesting boy. They had developed a favorable impression of him, and were willing to take the initiative to get to know this boy. When Chu Xiang bumped into the 4 teenagers on the plane, Geng Xian joked, "It's good to have a big fan. Who would have thought that you would become Yichen's fan just by drawing a few pictures? Sister, when are you going to draw a comic for me?" Zhuo Yichen pushed him aside. "My fans don't have time to care about you, okay? Go play by yourself." Although Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen had added each other on WeChat, they did not have much contact. After all, they were fans and idols, so both sides would consciously pay attention to each other. However, because Chu Xiang was following Zhuo Yichen's itinerary, the route was the same as his. They often bumped into each other on planes and high-speed trains, so this was often the time for them to laugh and chat. The staff had warned the 4 teenagers to keep a distance from their fans. However, Chu Xiang would not pry into their private lives, nor would she deliberately follow or harass them. She was a very good and interesting sister. When there were no other fans around, the 4 teenagers would laugh with her, and they were very relaxed and natural. Sometimes they would ask her about her university life, how she felt about studying at the film academy, what classes she had to attend, and whether the professors were strict or not. These were the questions that concerned them the most at their age, and Chu Xiang answered them one by one. When they talked about filming, she would also give them some advice from time to time. Anyway, they always had a lot to talk about, and their relationship had become much closer. This time, there were a total of 12 episodes, and they had to go to 6 places to play and enjoy the winter break. After leaving the first stop, Ice City, they went to 3 places with spring, summer, and autumn characteristics. The South Sea and the North Sea combined the 4 seasons, which fit their group name. The last 2 stops were 2 world-famous overseas scenic spots, and they even had fun with the audience at the Electric Music Festival abroad. The filming crew chose places that the 4 teenagers had never been to before, and the 4 17-year-old boys felt that it was novel and widened their horizons. They solved all the difficulties that they encountered on the trip together, and they were full of jokes and excitement. In short, they had a lot of fun. The variety show was very effective, and they even tasted the local delicacies. After the filming of the variety show, it was time for school to reopen. The 4 of them, including Chu Xiang, were all students, so they all had to report to school. As Zhuo Yichen was about to take the college entrance examination, he had to study behind closed doors, and did not take on any new jobs. He only had to attend a few advertising events. Chu Xiang also had a lot of time to spend on her studies, and she only took time off to attend his events. Once, Chu Xiang was asked to stay by the professor to attend a seminar, and she could not go to Zhuo Yichen's side. She thought about it. Ever since she became a fan of Zhuo Yichen, she seemed to be present at every event. Every time Zhuo Yichen had a habit of looking for her, and it was better if she did not appear suddenly. Chu Xiang sent a WeChat message to Zhuo Yichen and briefly explained the reason. "I'm sorry, Brother Chen. The professor asked me to attend a seminar, and I'm not allowed to take time off. I can't go with you tomorrow. The temperature difference between Sea City and Beijing is very big, so you have to take good care of the temperature. We will mainly eat seafood there, so don't eat too much and feel uncomfortable. I don't have classes for your next event, so I'll go next time. Good luck with your revision." Zhuo Yichen was doing some practice questions, and when he saw Chu Xiang's message, he quickly replied, "It's okay, sister. Your studies are more important. You're going to be an excellent editor in the future. You don't have to follow me every time. It's too tiring." He looked at the questions on the paper and sent another message. "I'll definitely study hard. It's just that I've missed some classes, and the questions are very difficult. I just did a set of papers, and there are a few questions that I don't know." Zhuo Yichen took 2 photos and sent them to Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang took a few glances and replied, "Is it convenient for you to make a voice call now? I know all these questions, and I'll explain them to you." Zhuo Yichen looked at his phone screen, and then at the difficult questions for the 3rd year of high school. He immediately made a voice call. Sister Chu Xiang, you still remember the questions for the 3rd year of high school? I usually don't forget what I've learned. Let's start now. The second sentence of the 7th question is a trap to confuse the candidates. As long as you remember the key points of this question, you'll be able to avoid the trap. Chu Xiang's powerful divine sense didn't allow her to forget what she had learned. When she first arrived in modern times, she happened to be a college student, and it didn't take long for her to become the first in her major. Then she discovered that there was a lot of knowledge in modern times that she hadn't seen before, such as foreign languages, physics, chemistry, and so on. No one in the cultivation world taught these things. Therefore, when she was a student, she learned all the basic knowledge. She was even better than the provincial top scorer, so teaching Zhuo Yichen was absolutely no problem. Her thinking was very flexible, and she could come up with at least 2 or 3 ways to solve a question. Her language skills were also very good, and when she explained the questions, she was clear and easy to understand. Soon Zhuo Yichen was enlightened. He couldn't help but praise her. Sister Chu Xiang, you're so good. You've been a tutor before, right? You're even more clear than my tutor. Chu Xiang smiled and said, Really? Then it seems that I've found a new part-time job. Zhuo Yichen laughed out loud, and his voice was still a little immature. That won't do. I want to hire you as my personal tutor, and you'll only teach me. When the time comes for the college entrance examination, I'll crush them. Okay, then you'll be in trouble. I'm a devil tutor, and I have high standards. If you fail the college entrance examination after learning from me, then I'll stop being your fan. Don't worry, you won't have the chance to stop being my fan. Zhuo Yichen crossed his arms, moved his wrists, and stretched. Come on, next question. I'm the best at facing difficulties head-on, and nothing can stop me. The two of them, one teaching and the other learning, were unexpectedly efficient. From then on, Zhuo Yichen would send the questions he didn't know to Chu Xiang and ask if she had time. When Chu Xiang didn't have class, she would explain the questions to him. The length of the 2 voice messages added up to an unknown amount of time. After Zhuo Yichen finished all his work assignments, he went into seclusion and did not show his face again. Chu Xiang became the person he contacted the most. Chu Xiang got first place in her major in the college entrance examination, and her excellent performance was appreciated by the professor, who gave her a lot of extra homework. She was also in seclusion, trying her best to overcome the problems in her studies. However, Chu Xiang was more energetic. In addition to being busy with her studies, she was also serializing her manga. Even the manga of Zyc Xiang was being produced every day. A major role of a sister was to promote her idol and show his charm. She pushed him into the eyes of the public, and at the same time attracted new fans. Now that Zhuo Yichen was in seclusion, his popularity naturally decreased. Chu Xiang's manga with Zhuo Yichen's avatar unexpectedly brought him a lot of popularity. Of course, Chu Xiang continued to draw it. It was easy for her to come up with some cute jokes, and drawing wasn't difficult for her either. It was easy for her to persevere, and it made her a very important sister in the eyes of stars. At the same time, the winter vacation variety show was finally broadcast, and it directly increased Zhuo Yichen's popularity by a lot. The audience of Winter Vacation Travels was very wide. Children looked forward to it when they saw them playing around happily. Teenagers admired them when they saw how they solved all kinds of difficulties on their 17-year-old journey. At the same time, they envied the deep friendship between them. Middle-aged people looked at them as if they were looking at other people's children. They were good at sports, had good grades, were good at foreign languages, and were natural and unrestrained in the face of the unknown. They were full of youthful vitality and joy. Occasionally, the elderly would watch the show and see the handsome guys having fun, and they would also be happy. Sometimes, variety shows weren't about the variety show itself, but the people involved. The Winter Vacation Travels filmed by S.J. Boy was unexpectedly to the audience's liking. When it was broadcast, it took the throne of first place in the viewership ratings for the same period and never came down. Their 4 Rao variety shows took the top 4 spots every week, and their popularity increased greatly. This variety show became a large-scale scene for them to attract fans. Even their company was very surprised. When they were planning, they didn't expect it to be so popular. This was very difficult, and it was because the four youths were all very outstanding. The audience saw their growth in the show and saw their various strengths. That was why they were able to attract fans and make the show successful. Among them, the one whose popularity increased the most was Zhuo Yichen, who was in seclusion. The company felt that it was very strange. After careful analysis, they found that it was inseparable from Chu Xiang's manga. Chu Xiang's manga stories all highlighted Zhuo Yichen's merits. In 2 months, they received a lot of attention. There were many passers-by who had read the manga, but didn't know much about Zhuo Yichen. After watching Winter Vacation Travels, they got his handsome and cute points, and many of them became his fans. Moreover, Zhuo Yichen was the team's leader. He also showed his leadership ability in the show. Many of the things that happened during the trip were the correct decisions he made. His birthday was the most important, but he took care of them carefully like their older brother. He was polite and considerate to many things, and he saved them a lot of trouble. People like him had an invisible charm, and people could see him in a group at a glance. He was very likable. Therefore, even though Zhuo Yichen was in seclusion, his popularity, which had dropped a little before, skyrocketed. This made many celebrities in the same field in the industry feel threatened by an underage boy. He hadn't grown up yet. When he grew up, how bright would he be? When Zhuo Yichen became popular, all sorts of scandals surfaced. While he was gaining fans, all sorts of scandals surfaced. There were rumors about his puppy love, about his past exams, about his smoking and drinking, and about him pretending to be a big shot. Anyway, many people didn't really know him, and they weren't interested in investigating the authenticity of the news. After reading these brainwashing stories, some people really believed and hated him. In any case, in order to destroy his popularity and suppress his rising popularity, waves of inexplicable negative news came one after another. The other 3 teammates also suffered different degrees of attacks, but none of them were as obvious as Zhuo Yichen's. The company's recent negotiations with him were a little affected. After all, a lot of jobs had to consider the artist's recent image. The college entrance examination was approaching, and Zhuo Yichen's biggest concern was whether he could get into university or not. Based on his results in the past 2 years, it should be possible for him to get around 500 marks. However, many people now suspected that he got someone to take the exams for him in the past. They said that his results were fake, and that he got into puppy love and drank too much. Naturally, his college entrance examination results became a hot topic. In Xingchen, there were true fans, new fans, and some who weren't loyal fans. Other than the true fans, the other fans were more or less affected by the negative news. Even Zhuo Yichen's super Facebook page had some strange posts, guessing the authenticity of the news. The true fans were very angry, and they were busy controlling the comments. There was a little bit of internal strife, and the overall fighting power of Xingchen decreased. Chu Xiang felt that the person who was scheming against Zhuo Yichen was quite vicious. They chose to do this at this critical juncture. If Zhuo Yichen's mood was affected, it might directly affect his exam results. Zhuo Yichen was only 17 years old, and he had already endured such a storm. When she explained the questions to Zhuo Yichen again, she told him, "Don't care about those things on the internet. You're about to take the college entrance examination. Just focus on preparing for the exam. When the exam results are out, you'll naturally be able to slap them in the face. The company will take care of everything else for you." Zhuo Yichen smiled. "Don't worry, I won't affect the exam. Great teachers produce great students, and I won't embarrass you. Everything else will take its natural course." Chu Xiang sensitively sensed that the company wasn't very helpful. She asked, "What's wrong with your company? Do you know who's behind this? How do you plan to deal with it?" Zhuo Yichen sighed. "I think it's a senior whose career path is a little different from mine. I heard that a movie will be filming in the second half of the year, and the director wants to contact me and him. However, he hasn't decided who to act in it yet. Isn't this just a matter of fighting for resources? The company's intention is that they won't be able to catch the other party in a head-on confrontation. Anyway, I'm taking the college entrance examination in 2 weeks, so this matter will be over soon. My Travels During Winter Vacation, is still airing. This matter has only spread within the industry and hasn't spread out, so it shouldn't have a big impact. Although Zhuo Yichen's tone was still very relaxed, there was no smile on his face. This matter had a certain impact on him. However, he knew what was more important and knew how to take each step properly. Therefore, he could still revise step by step. As for whether his mood was good or bad, he could only rely on himself to adjust. He had to learn how to reconcile with himself and not go down a dead end. Chu Xiang frowned and asked, "Who's that senior?" Zhuo Yichen smiled. "Sister, don't worry. I'm fine. Don't worry about this matter. Weren't you recently chosen by the professor to be his assistant? You must be very busy, right? Actually, I'm almost done revising. Sister, you should get back to your work. I've taken up too much of your time." "What's there to take up? I'll allocate my own time." "All right then, don't think about anything else. There are only 2 weeks left, so you'll have to work hard. I've highlighted some important questions for you. I'll send them to you to take a look. Focus on revising. Your fans will take care of everything else. Our constellation will always support you." Chu Xiang saw that he didn't want to ask anymore. After all, she could do the research herself. Zhuo Yichen smiled when he heard this. His mood was inexplicably much better. If Chu Xiang hadn't mentioned it, he would have almost forgotten that his sister was a member of Constellation. Their relationship was no longer just that of a fan and an idol. They were teacher and student, friends, and in the future, senior and junior. With Chu Xiang around, it seemed like the rest of the time wouldn't be so difficult. Chu Xiang gave Zhuo Yichen a lot of questions. Zhuo Yichen cherished Chu Xiang's kindness very much. He didn't want to waste any of it, so he really immersed himself in it and focused on doing the questions. After Chu Xiang hung up the phone, she pondered for a moment. She really didn't know where to start investigating. She wasn't completely considered a member of the entertainment industry at the moment. She hadn't opened up her network yet. It was impossible for ordinary people to tell her about this kind of thing. She could only look for more channels and hope that it would be useful. When Chu Xiang worked part-time as an editor to earn money, she got to know a lot of people, including many in the entertainment industry. In school, she was familiar with the professors and teachers. Because of some projects, she also worked with some students from the directing and performing majors. She could chat with them. She also had fan groups. Not only Constellation, but also other idols' fan groups. She could gather information from them. However, these had to be done in a roundabout way. Because she didn't have the right connections, she couldn't directly investigate. It took some time. Before she found out who the opponent was, Chu Xiang drew 2 more sets of comics. This time, she didn't use Zhuo Yichen's face as the main character. Instead, she drew a story about the zoo's tea party. It was obscure, interesting, and understandable to ridicule the scandals. The story was very simple, but every picture and every sentence was just right. It accurately pointed out the core content of the scandals, and the fact that the scandals had no concrete evidence. It also pointed out that the scandals were meant to make people who didn't know the truth follow the crowd, and let the bad guy behind it gain benefits. The ending was, of course, retribution. The bad guy exploded on the spot. Chu Xiang's Weibo now had more than 3 million fans. It was a very influential website. This was the first time she posted a long Weibo post, and she posted the complete story of a comic in one go. The Constellation fans were stunned after reading it. The story was too clear. It was more useful than a bunch of words they used to control the comments. At first glance, it was obvious that the villain was slandering. In the end, the villain's miserable ending made them feel extremely comfortable. The key was that the whole story was still in the same funny style. Every detail was mocking the haters. It felt like an especially high-level black mockery. Moreover, when they controlled the comments, they explained a lot. Very few people had the patience to read it. Then, keyboard warriors with opposing opinions would come and quarrel with them. There were many girls in Constellation. They were young and impetuous. Sometimes they couldn't help but quarrel with others. However, this was something that ruined the good impression of the passers-by. Constellation was also very helpless. During this period of time, They were impetuous and impatient. However, Chu Xiang's comic was different. At first, people who didn't know about this might think that it was a fun story. After reading it, they would immediately connect it to Zhuo Yichen. Even the signature on every page of the comic was a very obvious ZYC Xiang. It was easy for people who knew about this to read it. After all, the text was boring, and there were many people quarreling. The atmosphere was foul. This comic was so interesting that it was easy to read it and understand it. At this moment, Zhuo Yichen's true fans found the best material to fight back. After a few big websites and Chu Xiang got Chu Xiang's permission, they immediately called for Constellation to forward and spread Chu Xiang's Weibo. Constellation was suddenly motivated. They showed the attitude of fighting for Zhuo Yichen and sent Chu Xiang to the hot search list in minutes. Hashtag Zhuo Yichen's sister's strength mockery hashtag climbed to the top of the hot search list step by step. Many passers-by found it interesting. Many people started to discuss whether the rumors were true or not. Many fans started to talk about the truth and recommend Zhuo Yichen's various achievements in the entertainment industry. With this kind of popularity, the content that slandered Zhuo Yichen and spread rumors were not so obvious. Although it was impossible to wash away the dirty water with just a manga story, Chu Xiang had indeed made a good start. The stars were awesome, twisting into a rope and forcefully turning the situation around. The main point was how to develop next, but at least there was an excellent turning point. It also boosted Constellation's morale. This was the most important thing. The fans' firm support and doubts were two completely different concepts. It gave Lu Rao a very different feeling. Even Zhuo Yichen's company saw this and asked the staff to contact Chu Xiang. They wanted to communicate with her, hoping that she would discuss her next step with the company and not waste such a good situation. The company had its own considerations. Chu Xiang understood that Zhuo Yichen was not the only artist in the company. There were many other factors to consider. However, the company did not step forward to protect Zhuo Yichen. It was also a fact that they did not protect the young man well. Chu Xiang no longer had a good impression of the company. She just brushed them off with a few perfunctory words. When did she need to discuss things with others? She never did things that she was not confident of. However, she found an opportunity and directly asked the company who was behind Zhuo Yichen. The company did not tell her at first. How could the company be on the same side as her, a fan? However, Chu Xiang had never lost a negotiation before. After hinting that she might investigate on her own, or guess who was going to retaliate, the company still told her the name of the person in order not to cause more trouble. Chu Xiang's face darkened when she heard this. The person who secretly harmed Zhuo Yichen was actually Childhood. Not only was Childhood problematic when it came to women, but his character was also terrible. Childhood was a popular idol. The original owner of the body had been with Childhood for a long time. There were many memories of Childhood, so Chu Xiang knew Childhood very well. In comparison, Childhood's development path and many resources were indeed clashing with Zhuo Yichen's. It was not so obvious in the past. Now that Zhuo Yichen was about to become an adult and go to university, he was about to break away from the image of a child. The competition between them was huge. The most recent one was Zhuo Yichen's movie. The director had to contact both sides before deciding who to cast. Childhood wanted to snatch the movie and suppress Zhuo Yichen to reduce the threat. It was easy to deal with now that he knew who his opponent was. Wasn't it just Childhood? He did not expose Zhuo Yichen's scandals, but Chu Xiang had solid evidence of his scandals. Prepare, it was time to let him die. Just treat it as a gift for little brother Chen. While Chu Xiang was planning to expose the situation, Childhood's team had already realized that the public opinion had changed. Assistant in Childhood. This fan of Zhuo Yichen is quite impressive. Previously, Zhuo Yichen's popularity rose so quickly. This time, she gathered Zhuo Yichen's fans to fight with her. Her influence is really great. Should we try to poach her? Pay her more. She can help us a lot. Childhood swiped his phone and looked at Chu Xiang's Weibo. He shook his head. She did her best for Zhuo Yichen. How much time did she spend drawing these things? I suspect that she is not a fan at all. Maybe this account is run by Zhuo Yichen's company. She is just using this identity to promote Zhuo Yichen. You guys work overtime and see if you can come up with something useful. Childhood got up and left impatiently. He asked a beautiful girl out to relax. Who would be willing to waste time on such things when it was not working hours? He had hired these employees from the studio. This should be part of their job scope. His assistant shook his head at his back and told everyone in the studio that if they could not find a good counterattack, they could forget about getting off work. The people in the studio usually paid attention to all aspects of the situation. Some of them liked to read comics. After everyone thought of many ideas, the one who liked to read comics suddenly had a flash of inspiration. I remember that there is a comic artist whose recent stories are very interesting. Zhuo Yichen's fan style is very similar to her. When she said this, the others reacted. Are you going to accuse the fan of plagiarism? Maybe she did plagiarize. Open it and see. They immediately opened the comic serialization website and started to compare the comics on both sides. They had no choice. They had been trying to dig up Zhuo Yichen's dirt for a period of time. They really could not find anything. What could they find now? If they could accuse Zhuo Yichen's fan of plagiarism, they could immediately make this fan quit. It was equivalent to shutting down Zhuo Yichen's fan page. Moreover, this kind of thing would affect Zhuo Yichen's image to a certain extent. They could sow discord and attack Xingchen's momentum. It was killing 3 birds with 1 stone. They compared it seriously and felt that it was not just similar. This was a skinning copy. Some of the details were not changed and directly copied. It was too arrogant. They finally found the plagiarism point and immediately asked Childhood for instructions. Childhood did not have any opinions at all. He even told them not to bother him. They directly bribed a few marketing accounts to leak the news. Chu Xiang was at the top of the trending searches. The exposure of her plagiarism of the artist's comic had been very popular from the beginning. Soon after, it shot up to the top of the trending searches. Xingchen was stunned. They all left private messages to ask Chu Xiang what was going on. Chu Xiang's comic was very similar to the artist's comic. Even the funny style was very similar. Someone was puzzled. Could they be the same person? However, it was quickly refuted. Fan page 1's itinerary to chase after celebrities. Chu Xiang is still retouching pictures and drawing comics. How could she have the time to serialize a long comic story? Chu Xiang was still focused on writing the exposé about her childhood. She did not look at Weibo at all, and did not know that she was on the trending searches again. Zhuo Yichen found out first and anxiously called her. Sister Chu Xiang, are you okay? Chu Xiang said blankly, I'm fine. What's wrong with me? You're on the trending searches, aren't you? Geng Xian just called to tell me. Don't be afraid. At the end of the day, this matter is directed at me. I'll go to the company now to talk to them and suppress this matter. Chu Xiang could hear the anxiety and worry in his voice. She quickly interrupted him. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Isn't it a good thing that I'm on the trending searches? I didn't do anything. I just drew a comic and said a few words to the haters. It doesn't affect me. No, sister, you're on the trending searches again. Don't you know? You. Zhuo Yichen hesitated and seemed to be in a difficult position. The trending searches are about your comic being plagiarized from an artist. Ha. Chu Xiang opened Weibo and saw a lot of messages in the background. She immediately went offline. She logged in a few more times and then saw the comparison image that she had plagiarized. Sister, are you okay? Zhuo Yichen paced back and forth in the room worriedly. I'm sorry. It's all because of me. You've helped me so much. In the end, I implicated you and caused you to be scolded by the netizens. I'm sorry. I believe that you didn't plagiarize. There must be something wrong. Don't worry, I'll solve it. Don't go online from now on. It'll be fine. Chu Xiang laughed. It's really fine. The artist is me. Of course, the style of my drawing is the same. Don't worry. You really trust me. You put such an obvious comparison image together, and you still believe that I didn't plagiarize. Zhuo Yichen was stunned. Anyway, he immediately laughed. Sister, you drew it yourself. Of course, I believe you. After knowing you for so long, I believe in your character. I believe in what I see with my own eyes. That's great. As long as you clarify, everything will be fine. But if you do that, you'll be exposed. Are you afraid that your fans will know that you're a fan? I'm not afraid. The idol I'm a fan of is so good. I want to promote my idol to the whole world. Zhuo Yichen couldn't help but laugh out loud. Hearing this sentence gave him a greater sense of accomplishment than having a good time on stage. Chu Xiang heard his laughter, and the corners of her mouth curled up. She laughed. Okay, you haven't finished the questions I gave you, right? Don't worry about these things anymore. I'm not a pushover. I'm not someone who can be bullied. Don't worry and do the questions. I'll explain the questions to you later. Okay, I won't let anyone bully you. Zhuo Yichen's voice was soft, but there was a trace of firmness in it for no reason. After hanging up the phone, he didn't do the questions. Instead, he put on a mask and went to the company. He didn't expect Chu Xiang to draw a comic and directly attack those haters. Suddenly, the fire of war was directed at her. Although it was a mistake this time, Chu Xiang was the artist and there was no plagiarism problem. However, no one knew what would happen next time. It didn't matter if he tolerated it for a while. He could accept it if he considered the big picture and other factors. After all, there was still a chance to make a comeback later. However, Chu Xiang had done so much for him. He couldn't let Chu Xiang suffer the storm again. He didn't do anything wrong in the first place. Why should he let Chu Xiang and Xingchen endure it with him? Zhuo Yichen's attitude was firm as he negotiated with the company. He had to fight back. Sue the marketing accounts for spreading rumors to express his attitude. Then he would investigate his childhood story and fight back. This was a more substantial battle. The company's attitude was also firm. They even quarreled. Geng Xian and the other two heard the news from the staff. They all expressed their support for Zhuo Yichen. The four of them were considered to have joined forces to oppose the company's decision. It was very unpleasant. However, the company agreed in the end. They first sued the marketing accounts, and then bought a wave of ghostwriters to cover up the true and false childhood stories. The lawyer's letter was sent out very quickly. The company's statement immediately attracted the attention of the onlookers. At the cusp of Chu Xiang's plagiarism, everyone discovered that Zhuo Yichen's company had suddenly started to pursue the marketing accounts that had spread rumors about him. They felt that it was very strange. As soon as he appeared, fans and passers-by left comments asking if Chu Xiang's plagiarism was true. They also asked Zhuo Yichen what he thought about the plagiarism of his Zhang Jie. Before the situation could develop further, everyone discovered that Chu Xiang and the cartoonist Weibo had updated at the same time. Furthermore, the cartoonist Weibo name had changed. Chu Huangvi, Zyc Xiang I am. Thank you for liking my comic story. I'm attaching a cute picture of my idol. In the future, I will draw more interesting comics for my idol. Remember to follow me. Picture. Zyc Xiang V, Chu Huangvi, Chu Huang I am. It's such a coincidence that two fields were discovered by everyone. Thank you for your attention. In the future, I will release more comics. If you like, you can take a look. As soon as these two Weibo posts were posted, the plagiarism case was exposed. The cartoonist Weibo had directly posted a cute cartoon picture of Zhuo Yichen. It was super cute and super good looking. On the other hand, Zhang Jie's Weibo was originally Chu Huang. Later, it was changed to Zyc Xiang. Therefore, these two were really the same person. It was really a blunder that made people not know whether to laugh or cry. Soon people noticed the tone of Chu Xiang's two Weibo posts. Remember to follow me and you can take a look. It was obvious that her comics were not as good as her idol series. This was definitely true love for her idol. Chapter 113. The mishap became a comedy, but it pushed Chu Xiang's popularity up a notch. Both of her Weibo comics received a lot of attention. She was a famous writer in her previous life, and her storytelling skills were definitely top-notch. Her comics were particularly lively, interesting, and attractive. A large part of the traffic brought by this wave of popularity directly converted into her income. Many readers who liked comics or stories subscribed to her comics, and this directly pushed her to the top of the income chart. Her income was no less than 5,000 yuan. Similarly, her recommendation of her idol's Weibo comics and her satirical comics also appeared in the circle. She single-handedly brought Zhuo Yichen to the top of the search list. Netizens were discussing Zhuo Yichen, and it was in a positive direction. Many onlookers laughed in the comments section. This is the first idol in history to be brought to the top of the search list by Sister Jean. I really want to know how Zhuo Yichen feels right now, haha. If I were Zhuo Yichen, I would definitely feel great. His battle fans are so valiant. One man can hold back 10,000 men. This Sister Jean must love her idol very much. Look at the pictures she posted. None of them reveal Zhuo Yichen's private status or show content. The pictures are either handsome or cute. Looking at her Weibo, it's super easy to become Zhuo Yichen's fan. My 14-year-old boy who won the national championship has grown up? I'm most afraid of people who are more outstanding and hardworking than you. I'm a fan now. Many people found out the timing of Zhuo Yichen's lawyer's letter and Chu Xiang's Weibo post. One after the other, it was as if they had arranged it beforehand. If this wasn't mutual love, then what was? Both of them were very valiant and responsible. They stood up when they should, and neither of them was a loser. This inexplicably made many people feel that they were lucky. There was also a group of fans who were secretly forming a couple. However, there weren't many of them, and they were very active, so no one noticed them for the time being. Geng Xian, Xiazhou, and Xiao Ran were all in the company. Together with Zhuo Yichen, they were scrolling through the news on the internet. When they saw the comments on the internet, they all laughed. Yichen, come, let's have an interview. How are you feeling right now? The three of them handed a bottle of mineral water to Zhuo Yichen at the same time. Zhuo Yichen held back his laughter and cleared his throat. What are you feeling? Of course, I'm very happy. After all, my fans are as outstanding as me. Geng Xian slumped onto the sofa as if he had been knocked down. That's enough. The three of us were worried about you and came over to accompany you, but you're torturing us like dogs. Zhuo Yichen threw a pillow at him and laughed. What dog abuse, Hu Pao? He looked at his three friends and said seriously, thanks. Xiao Ran leaned on Xiazhou and said with a smile, there's no need for this between brothers. Why don't we do something more practical? I'll bring you guys gifts every time I go abroad, okay? In the future, the gifts will pile up like a mountain. The smile on Zhuo Yichen's face relaxed a lot. The support of his brothers was very important at this time. And there was indeed no need for thanks between them. He asked his assistant to buy a table full of delicious food, and the four of them ate together in the lounge. Geng Xian looked at the manga that Chu Xiang had drawn for Zhuo Yichen and said sourly, you've really become a cute boy living in a manga. Sister Chu Xiang's manipulation is awesome. Of course. You guys should also take a look at Sister Chu Xiang's manga. It's super well drawn and the story is super funny. I highly recommend it. Zhuo Yichen looked at Chu Xiang's serialized manga as he ate. He couldn't hide the smile on his face, and he was very happy. His three teammates couldn't stand it anymore. You guys are promoting it both ways. No wonder people on the internet are saying that you guys dote on each other. Don't worry, if there are any CP fans, Sister Chu Xiang will be scolded to death by your girlfriend fans. How can there be CP fans so easily? Zhuo Yichen muttered, but in his heart, he began to wonder if he and Sister Chu Xiang felt like a couple. Thinking about it, it seemed like there was a lot of CP fans. However, his fans usually called him son or younger brother. He probably didn't have many girlfriend fans, right? Zhuo Yichen and Xiazhou were both going to take the college entrance examination. Since the matters at the company were settled, they planned to go back after dinner. Zhuo Yichen wanted to give Chu Xiang a call to discuss today's matters. Zhuo Yichen was a common occurrence on the hot search list. He had been living in the eyes of the public for more than 3 years since his debut. He was strict with himself and there was nothing to dig about. Everyone was just watching for fun. Chu Xiang was different. Her high popularity this time made many people curious about her. Some of the female fans who bumped into her at the airport gossiped about her with their acquaintances. They even took a picture of her side profile and sent it to the group, praising her for her beauty. Chu Xiang, who was good-looking, was the center of attention everywhere. She had been nourishing her body with spiritual energy for a few months, so she was in peak condition in all aspects. She knew how to dress up, and she wore all kinds of beautiful red clothes every time. In fact, she was very eye-catching, so naturally, many people noticed her. Sometimes, when they were close enough to hear Chu Xiang chatting with others, they would roughly know who she was and which Weibo account she was from. At first, when they saw the photo, they didn't think much of it. They just felt that she was quite a Mary Sue. She was so beautiful, so elegant, so good at drawing, and her photo editing skills were top-notch. She even seemed to be protected by her idol. She was a good Mary Sue. Some people even guessed that she was a fair, rich, and beautiful girl. So her words and actions always gave people a feeling that she was full of confidence and was not afraid of anything. When the photo was sent to the group, it was equivalent to spreading. Childhood's fan, who had been chatting with Chu Xiang on WeChat, saw it and confirmed it several times. Then she immediately sent a message to Childhood's big fan group. This ZYC Xiang used to be our Nianyan's fan. She's the one who suddenly stopped being a fan. Ah, is it true? She went to become a fan of Zhuo Yichen? Why? Isn't Nianyan much better than that Zhuo Yichen? That's impossible, right? She has never drawn comics for Nianyan before. I feel that she doesn't have such sincere feelings for Nianyan. It can't be the same person. It's the same person. I've seen her more than 10 times. It's impossible for me to be wrong. Such a gossipy matter spread out very quickly. Childhood's team noticed it immediately and suddenly thought of an idea to let Childhood use this wave of popularity to create hype. Childhood's development path was similar to Zhuo Yichen's. Chu Xiang used to be Childhood's fan. This was a link. They could completely treat Zhuo Yichen as Childhood's fan. The gap between the senior and the junior could easily make passers-by feel that Childhood was much better than Zhuo Yichen. It was the adult version of Zhuo Yichen. With Zhuo Yichen's recent popularity, Childhood could also directly snatch a wave of fans. The original owner of the body had been following Childhood's itinerary for a long time. Childhood's assistant naturally found her familiar. When he saw the photo, he confirmed that she was really the fan who had stopped being a fan. He didn't know why Chu Xiang stopped being a fan, but he admired Chu Xiang's ability. He tried to send a private message to Chu Xiang and tried to poach her into the studio. Childhood's team didn't think that Chu Xiang, a fan, would know much about the inner workings of the entertainment industry. They also didn't think that Chu Xiang would know that the person targeting Zhuo Yichen was Childhood, so they didn't feel any pressure to poach her. Chu Xiang rejected them flatly. Then, she started to contact marketing accounts and prepared to expose Childhood's scandals. Childhood's assistant didn't care that he didn't manage to poach her. Anyway, the main point was to turn Zhuo Yichen into Childhood. He reported the matter to Childhood. Childhood was a little angry when he saw Chu Xiang's photo. He remembered this fan. She was beautiful and had a good figure. In fact, he wanted to get closer to her. Who knew that Chu Xiang kept a distance from him? She didn't give him any gifts or take a photo with him. She always stood far away. Now, she was climbing the wall to become a fan and ruining his plans. He immediately agreed to the team's plan. It was very popular now. On the surface, this matter had nothing to do with him. Now that it was exposed that Chu Xiang was once his sister Zhan, and he was pulled into the hot search, he could directly reap the benefits. Why not? In this way, he succeeded in stepping on Zhuo Yichen. His assistant confirmed with him again and again. He asked if there was any evidence in Chu Xiang's hands. Otherwise, why would Chu Xiang stop being a fan? Childhood firmly denied it. He thought that he was very careful. Otherwise, how could he be popular for so many years without any problems? The team was relieved and started working. Soon they found several photos of Chu Xiang that other people accidentally took. The photos were from a year ago, half a year ago, and more recent. It could be seen that Chu Xiang was taking photos of Childhood before, but recently, she was taking photos of Zhuo Yichen. Once these photos were released, the news that Chu Xiang was Childhood's fan immediately spread. When Chu Xiang talked about Childhood's fan, it was also on the hot search list. Although she didn't say anything, the hot search list quickly went down. However, many people who saw it still had some impression of it. The photos were very clear. Zhuo Yichen, the famous fan, was indeed Childhood's fan in the past. Childhood's team quickly got the marketing account to start the momentum. They said that Zhuo Yichen was similar to Childhood in many ways. No wonder Chu Xiang changed fans and became Zhuo Yichen's fan. They praised Childhood's good character and good personality. They even bragged about Childhood's results when he was admitted to university many years ago. The netizens didn't realize the meaning behind it, but there was a follow-up to this gossip. Everyone was very happy to see it. The brainwashing effect was very powerful. It was easy to make people think that Chu Xiang liked this type of idol. Zhuo Yichen did seem a little like Childhood's fan. No one noticed the slight change in their subconscious. Only a professional team could analyze the shift and dispersion of attention. Childhood was absorbing Zhuo Yichen's popularity with a strong force. The most disgusting thing was that Childhood was the one who did this to Zhuo Yichen. Unfortunately, Zhuo Yichen didn't have any evidence. In a short period of time, they couldn't find any dirt on Childhood to effectively fight back. They were vaguely in a state of passivity. Geng Xian and the others were about to leave after eating, but when they saw the latest news, they looked at Zhuo Yichen with a little worry. Zhuo Yichen's face was expressionless. He looked at the screenshots posted by Childhood's fans on Weibo. They were all comments about Childhood that Chu Xiang had posted in the past. Childhood's fans had inadvertently taken screenshots of other photos, but it was obvious that Chu Xiang liked Childhood very much. Geng Xian asked with concern. "Hey, what are you thinking about? Are you okay?" "I'm fine." Zhuo Yichen kept looking at his phone. After a while he asked, "Do I look like Childhood?" Without waiting for their answer, he sneered. "How do you look like Childhood?" No, of course you don't look like Childhood. Look at the chaos on the internet. This is definitely the result of the team. Sister Chu Xiang treats you so well. She's such a sincere fan. We're so envious." He nudged his teammates. "Right?" Xiazhou immediately added. "Yes, it's okay if Sister Chu Xiang used to be a fan of other people. She's no longer a fan now. She obviously hates Childhood, so of course she wouldn't treat you as a substitute. Sister Chu Xiang has sharp eyes. She must be a fan of you because she really likes you." Zhuo Yichen took a deep breath and shook his head gently. Of course, he believed that Chu Xiang wouldn't treat him as a substitute. It was normal for Chu Xiang to be a fan of other people in the past. Even if Chu Xiang was a fan of several people at the same time, it was normal for her to have more fans. However, he felt jealous. When he saw Chu Xiang's Weibo posts to Childhood's fans in the past, she actually said things like, "I like older brother very much. Older brother is super handsome." It was completely the attitude of a fangirl. He couldn't help but feel jealous. What was so good about Childhood? How was he handsome? He was obviously more handsome, okay. But Chu Xiang only thought he was cute. Zhuo Yichen stood up and walked out after watching for a while. Xiao Ran hurriedly asked, "Where are you going?" Zhuo Yichen waved his hand without looking back. "I'm going to the public relations department. Childhood's team is on the scene. Even if I have to fight with him, I can't involve Sister Chu Xiang." Xiazhou was a little worried. He discussed with his two teammates. "What should we do? If we fight with him, both sides will suffer." Geng Xian shrugged. "What can we do? Sister Chu Xiang is so supportive of Yichen. We can't let Yichen be a coward, right? If we're not careful, Sister Chu Xiang will become cannon fodder. You guys know how vicious the keyboard warriors can be." Xiao Ran frowned. It was rare for him to seriously consider a problem. "We can't fight back without Childhood's material. Yichen couldn't be trying to divert the attention to himself, could he? Only when he and Childhood were at loggerheads would no one pay attention to Sister Chu Xiang. It's easy to ruin his popularity by doing so." Geng Xian threw his phone aside and slumped on the sofa. "Then why don't you persuade him?" The three of them fell silent. No one could persuade Zhuo Yichen once he made up his mind. Their manager had said that it was fortunate that Zhuo Yichen had always known what he wanted. Every step he took was right. Otherwise, the company would not be able to control him if he were to be so stubborn. Just as Zhuo Yichen was negotiating with the company, Chu Xiang was a little confused when she realized that she had fallen into a trap again. She was only a student majoring in editing and wasn't considered a member of the entertainment industry. She had never thought that she would be on the hot search list and had been contacting marketing accounts. In the end, she didn't pay attention to the internet for a while, and childhood took advantage of her and used her identity to step on Zhuo Yichen. How could this be? She hadn't gotten even with childhood for bullying her younger brother, and now she dared to use her to bully her younger brother again. She wanted to do it. A few marketing accounts were still negotiating with her, but she directly told them that she didn't need to. It was possible to expose anonymously, but didn't childhood use her identity? She was more explosive than anyone else's. She edited childhood scandals that she had written before and added the reason why she was a fan, as well as some scandals that the original owner had discovered when she was following the original owner's schedule. For example, there was a photo of childhood scolding his assistant. Chu Xiang posted a long Weibo post and attached the last photo that the original owner had taken. In the photo, childhood was happily hugging two girls. There was even a date on it. She also took screenshots of childhood's fans who loved him the most. One of the photos was an interview that the original owner had seen before committing suicide. The time of the interview was right after he hugged two girls. She deliberately drew an afterimage of a slapping hand in the screenshot. She was well-versed in the art of dialogue. The contents of the exposé written by her were extremely persuasive, making people feel that it was very credible and convinced that she was the person who wrote about childhood. Of course, she didn't wrongly accuse childhood. Everything she wrote was true. When Chu Xiang's scandals were exposed, childhood's fans all exploded. They swarmed over to denounce her. Are you crazy? You're no longer a fan, but you still want to step on her. You even photoshopped photos to accuse childhood. Your heart is black. This person suddenly exposed childhood scandals at this time. It's obvious that she wants to divert the public's attention. She wants childhood to take the knife for Zhuo Yichen. Wall-climbing fans actually used their idol to take the knife for them. Shameless. Childhood sat at home, and the pot came from above. Who doesn't know that childhood loves fans the most and never gets close to women? If you want to make something up, you should make something more believable. Are you crazy to help Zhuo Yichen? Zhuo Yichen's scandals, what does it have to do with my family? Netizens, isn't it right that Zhuo Yichen looks like Nian Nian? He might be imitating Nian Nian. Zhuo Yichen and his fans are disgusting. Hee, isn't she deliberately trying to start a war? Everyone attack her. Let her see our family's fighting power. Childhood's fans crazily insulted Chu Xiang. Some of the comments were unsightly. Zhuo Yichen even tried to sow discord. Xingchen should also scold Chu Xiang. This kind of inexplicable person was the epitome of insidious and cunning. Chu Xiang didn't avoid it and posted on Weibo. ZYC Xiangvi. I'm trying to start a war. You know what kind of wicked things your team has done. If you dare to show your claws, you should be prepared to be chopped off. Don't use my childhood as a fan. I was just blind in the past. All the photos are authentic. If you're not convinced, come and fight. Chu Xiang stubbornly confronted childhood's fans, causing the matter to reach a climax. Then many professionals proved that Chu Xiang's photos were all authentic, and that there was no trace of editing. Moreover, the timing of all the photos matched childhood's schedule. Chu Xiang had a reasonable reason for suddenly leaving childhood's fans. Not only did childhood deceive his fans, but his private life was also very messy. He also acted like a big shot and bullied his assistant. His character was very bad. No matter how much the fans deceived themselves, they couldn't lie through their teeth. These were all real. Childhood's reputation of not being in a relationship and only loving his fans was very stable. He often flirted with his fans, and 80% of his fans were girlfriend fans. His girlfriend fans were the first to go crazy. Some even recorded videos and posted them. In the videos, they cried themselves hoarse and shouted that they were no longer fans. Other fans also couldn't stand childhood's malicious deceit. Not only did he lie, but he also found two women at once. It was too disgusting. Also, Chu Xiang's Weibo post. What did it mean that the team had done something wicked? Wasn't the topic of Zhuo Yichen and childhood's resemblance to each other just now? This kind of topic of resemblance was common in the entertainment industry. Chu Xiang shouldn't have such a big reaction, right? Childhood's team was wicked? Could it be that the previous scandals were also childhood's tricks? Only this reason could explain why Chu Xiang suddenly exposed such a big piece of news, tearing apart childhood and childhood's studio. This made childhood's fans even more disappointed, and they couldn't help but hate him. Childhood had encountered an unprecedented crisis since his debut. This piece of news directly suppressed all the trending searches and became the hottest topic at the moment. It occupied the center of the vortex, and Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen were successfully pushed to the edge of the incident. Childhood's team immediately found Childhood and anxiously thought of countermeasures. However, Chu Xiang's video was the truth, and they had no way to clarify it. Previously, they had excitedly wanted to step on Zhuo Yichen, but now they were directly overturned. Childhood's team was poured a torrent of abuse, and in the end, they only made a superficial statement that they would reserve the right to pursue the rumormonger. Even passers-by didn't believe this kind of weak statement. Childhood was completely at the heart of the storm, and it attracted everyone's attention. Geng Xian's account followed Chu Xiang. When he saw the pop-up Weibo, he was shocked. Damn. Sister Chu Xiang tearing apart Childhood. He ran out as he spoke. The most important thing now was to stop Zhuo Yichen. If something were to happen on this side, the whole thing would be a mess. Zhuo Yichen had just finished talking with the company when he was pulled back to the lounge by Geng Xian. He told him that Chu Xiang had made a big move. Don't cause trouble yet. Look at the news that Sister Chu Xiang exposed. I think it can beat Childhood to death. Look at the photo. Zhuo Yichen hurriedly opened Weibo to look. In the photo, Childhood was hugging two women in a car with a lecherous expression. He was so shocked that his eyes widened. Childhood is like this in private? Xiao Ran exclaimed. Sister Chu Xiang is amazing. Look at the long article she wrote. Yes, it's amazing. Is she also a writer? I hate Childhood after reading it. He's not worthy of being a fan at all. Xiaozhou's face was full of admiration. Yichen, share Sister Chu Xiang's WeChat with me. I'll definitely ask her to help me write when I'm in danger. Her writing is amazing. Zhuo Yichen quickly finished reading Chu Xiang's long Weibo. He had to admit that it was really amazing. Moreover, Chu Xiang's Weibo post was really strong. It was so strong that it exploded. At this moment, he was a little disappointed because Chu Xiang was involved in this whirlpool all because of him. However, he didn't really protect Chu Xiang. Instead, it was Chu Xiang who stood in front of him and helped him solve all the problems. He couldn't even say such strong words because he was an idol, an underage teen idol. His every move would be infinitely magnified. It was impossible for him to stand out and do anything himself. Childhood was doomed this time. The articles that stepped on him were invalidated. Their competitive relationship had completely disappeared. He could imagine that he would have a huge advantage in terms of resources in the future. These benefits were all snatched from Childhood by Chu Xiang. It seemed that ever since he met Chu Xiang had always helped him, but he didn't have anything to repay Chu Xiang. Previously, he was determined to choose Chu Xiang even if it meant losing his popularity. However, at this moment, he clearly realized that he wasn't good enough because he really hadn't grown up. He wasn't strong enough to protect the people he wanted to protect. He was only 17 years old. Even Chu Xiang didn't think of relying on him. She only saw him as a younger brother who needed protection. He didn't know what being an idol meant to Chu Xianglai, but he was sure that he wasn't good enough. He still lacked a lot. Only by standing at a higher position could he prevent this from happening again. Only then could he prevent his fans from standing in front of him when he was in danger. Growth seemed to happen in an instant. Zhuo Yichen's entire mentality changed. When the staff came over to ask him what his plans were, he calmly cancelled the public relations plan that he had worked so hard to negotiate. He politely said, "Thank you for your hard work," and asked them to rest. Compared to his previous anxiousness, he had become much calmer. Geng Xian was the first to notice his silence. He asked in confusion, "What are you thinking about? Why don't I feel that you're not excited at all? Your problem has been solved. Sister Xiang is amazing." Shouldn't you show off your big sister fan to us? Zhuo Yichen looked at Chu Xiang's Weibo. His eyes were full of emotions. He unconsciously smiled and said softly, "Yes, I should show off." Previously, her idol was so good. She wanted the whole world to know. Since I have such a good big sister fan, I should also let the whole world know. He directly followed Chu Xiang's 2 Weibo accounts on his main account. His finger rubbed on ZYC Xiang's Weibo for a moment. He asked his assistant for a beautiful card and wrote it to sign. Geng Xian said in shock, "Yichen, are you crazy? Why are you following Sister Xiang? Now everyone is staring at you." Zhuo Yichen spread his hands and said, "What's wrong? Shouldn't I follow such a sensational Sister Xiang? I'm not a cold-blooded animal." Xiaozhou saw the to sign next to his hand and gave him a thumbs up. "You're brave. The company will talk to you later." Zhuo Yichen said calmly, "I'm not being impulsive. I've thought about it seriously. The timing is just right. It won't bring trouble to Sister Chu Xiang. I can also follow her legitimately and express my support for her. It wouldn't work if it were another time. There would be a lot of trouble. Now is just right. I'll explain it to the company." Geng Xian thought about it carefully and nodded in agreement. "You too. Not bad. You always think so clearly. No wonder you're the captain. Oh right, hurry up and share Sister Xiang's WeChat in the group. We all want to add her." He saw Zhuo Yichen squinting his eyes and laughed. "What's with your expression? Why are we going through thick and thin together this time? I already treat Sister Xiang as one of us and I admire her wholeheartedly. Really, she'll be my sister from now on." Geng Xian suddenly slapped his forehead. "That's not right. You're declaring your sovereignty, aren't you? What are you doing secretly? You followed her and wrote it to sign. Are you telling everyone that you're locked in as fans? No matter who she used to be, Sister Xiang will be your fan in the future. Isn't that what you think? You're too domineering." Zhuo Yichen curled his lips and did not answer him. Instead he muttered, "I'll ask Sister Chu Xiang and then consider if I should give you my WeChat." He took a photo of the to sign and sent it to Chu Xiang. Then he sent a voice message. "Sister Chu Xiang, shouldn't we change the cover of the next website?" He took an emoticon from the comic that Chu Xiang drew for him. It was his own face, full of anticipation and super cute. He also sent it to Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang saw it and laughed. "Are you giving me fan benefits? Okay, I'll change it now. Oh right, did you follow me just now? Will it be troublesome for you? No, I know what I'm doing. Thank you, sister." Zhuo Yichen said the last 4 words in a particularly serious tone. Chu Xiang laughed. "What are you thanking me for? If you encounter something like this in the future, just tell me directly. I've been promoted to become your battle fan leader today. Sister Chu Xiang, you just have to be a happy sister on the website. Also, when school starts, you'll be my happy senior." Zhuo Yichen joked and told her that his teammates wanted to add her on WeChat and asked if she could. Chu Xiang did not have any objections. Soon she added Geng Xian and the other 2 on WeChat. Then, she realized that they were much closer to her. Even the way they addressed her changed from Sister Chu Xiang to Sister Xiang. Chu Xiang also asked Zhuo Yichen, "They all call me Sister Xiang. Why are you the only one who calls me Sister Chu Xiang?" Zhuo Yichen replied, "It feels like Sister Xiang is calling a very big sister. You're obviously about the same age as me, so Sister Chu Xiang sounds more intimate." Chu Xiang realized that it was very easy for a boy to be sweet to her. No wonder puppies were starting to become popular. They were too sweet. Zhuo Yichen's following of her and the fact that she had changed the cover to a to sticker were quickly noticed by others. In the past, there had been celebrities who were related to her on the website, but there were very few of them. Basically, there were no idols who were related to her. Furthermore, idols who were related to her could only get a to sticker from a relatively small number of websites, and most of them were obtained when the idols had just debuted. Now that Chu Xiang suddenly had a to sticker, wasn't this Zhuo Yichen's support and protection? The beautiful card read, "To ZYC Xiang, let's walk together in the future." Zhuo Yichen previously, when childhood trampled on Zhuo Yichen. A few big fans were a little anxious and discussed calling for Xingchen to control the comments. However, this kind of bondage was the most disgusting. No matter how hard they tried, they could not tear it off. In their hearts, they knew that it would not have much of an effect, so they were powerless. In the end, Chu Xiang suddenly made a big move and forcibly removed childhood from Zhuo Yichen's body. Now the internet was full of childhood's deceit, and childhood's fans started to leave on a large scale. Xing Chen's fans were still in a state of disbelief. They had not recovered from the fact that Chu Xiang had single-handedly destroyed childhood. When they saw Zhuo Yichen following Chu Xiang and writing a "to" sticker, none of them felt jealous. They all felt that Chu Xiang was so handsome and cool. She was simply a god of war. Zhuo Yichen also supported his sister on the website and protected her fans. It was really awesome. This time, after such a tumultuous crisis, Xing Chen's family was the final winner. Xing Chen's fans could not wait to celebrate. How could they have the time to be jealous? Zhuo Yichen was right. Now was the best time. Everyone felt that Xing Chen's family was the best. They were too happy. It was originally like this. If one's fans were on the hot search list, they might be turned into cannon fodder by their opponents. Their idol was simply too responsible for standing up for them. For a good sister on the website like Chu Xiang, it would be disappointing if Zhuo Yichen did not make a move. When their idol was in danger, Chu Xiang revealed such a huge piece of news to destroy their opponents. It was too admirable. It was hard for Xing Chen not to like her. This incident could be considered a turn of events. The onlookers could not bear to see it. The matter still needed to ferment before it could be sorted out. For the time being, all the attention was on childhood. Of course, it did not matter if all the negative attention was given to him. Chu Xiang and the rest could rest and sleep. They did not need to participate in anything else. Childhood's incident caused a stir for 2 days. A few websites were closed, and the number of fans dropped significantly. All the statistics were terrible. No one knew what the fans who were willing to stay were thinking. In any case, there was still a portion of them. However, they were all scattered fans. Without the lead of a big fan, they were like a plate of loose sand. Their fighting strength was weak. Almost everyone on the internet was mocking and despising childhood. There were not many who spoke up for him. After this incident ended, everyone thought about the cause and effect. The focus shifted back to Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen. Chu Xiang turned the situation around with her own strength. She became famous in one battle. Although this was related to the material she had in her hands, industry insiders who had material in their hands might not be able to play it as well as she did. Outsiders could feel that she was very powerful. Zhuo Yichen's sister on the website became a well-known name. Her fighting strength was off the charts. Her writing skills were off the charts. Her ability to draw comics was off the charts. Moreover, she was clearly calm and rational. She was very good at handling crises. She protected her idol with her own strength. It was hard for people not to remember such an outstanding talent. Zhuo Yichen's 3 actions of sending a lawyer's letter, following her, and signing a contract made people see that he wanted to protect Chu Xiang. It gave people the feeling that he was a fan who could not be bullied. It was a great blessing. Previously, when he was trying to attract fans, childhood was in a terrible state. They did not have the energy to target him anymore. Those inexplicable scandals were all put to rest. The next time he showed himself, he was completely attracting fans. Moreover, Chu Xiang gave up childhood to become his fan. In this incident, he was directly placed on the opposite side of childhood. Back then, Chu Xiang stopped being his fan. Everyone knew that she stopped being his fan without any reluctance. At that time, Chu Xiang had material in her hands that had never been exposed. It was also clear that she was not the kind of person who would step on someone after they stopped being his fan. She was very principled and had a bottom line. Now, she was a fan of Zhuo Yichen. She followed Zhuo Yichen's schedule for a few months. She often filmed Zhuo Yichen on the front lines. Not only did she not stop being his fan, but she also produced so many interesting stories to crazily promote Zhuo Yichen's strengths. Wasn't this another way to prove that Zhuo Yichen was the same on the outside, and that he was really that good? Usually, fans would only speak one side of the story when they recommended their idols. Everyone else was skeptical and didn't take it seriously. However, Chu Xiang was different this time. With childhood as a comparison, her love for Zhuo Yichen was especially prominent. The beautiful character revealed in those comic stories seemed to be Zhuo Yichen himself. It was an especially great Zhuo Yichen that she saw when she was following his schedule. This kind of invisible trust that the masses had for her was very subtle. It was like a verbal guide that made people subconsciously inclined to believe that she was the Zhuo Yichen that she promoted. Many people would do this. She was so resolute. If Zhuo Yichen was not good, she would have stopped him long ago like she did to childhood. Moreover, if Zhuo Yichen was not that good, she would not have put so much effort into drawing comics. She had never drawn childhood before. Chu Xiang once again brought a wave of huge fans to Zhuo Yichen. It could be said that she was a classic example of attracting fans in the entertainment industry. Before this wave of popularity died down, Zhuo Yichen and Xiazhou took the college entrance exam together and became the focus of everyone's attention once again. Some people still remembered the rumor that Zhuo Yichen had asked someone to take the exam for him. It was impossible to take the college entrance exam for someone else. Zhuo Yichen's results could be directly verified. Under such circumstances, when the college entrance exam results were released, many people were shocked. Zhuo Yichen actually scored 628 points. More than 600 points. Even the proportion of students who studied in school did not exceed 600 points. Zhuo Yichen, a celebrity who often participated in events, actually scored more than 600 points. He immediately became the focus of the college entrance exam. His 3 teammates were also stunned. Although they were not bad in their studies, they usually scored around 500 points. Xiazhou, who performed exceptionally this time, only scored 530 points. Zhuo Yichen actually scored 100 points more than him. He grabbed Zhuo Yichen and questioned him. How did you do it? Quick. Leniency to those who confess, severity to those who resist. Zhuo Yichen smiled and pushed him away. Just study hard. Did you not work hard when you were in seclusion? Didn't I give you a lot of questions? Did you answer them? Xiazhou was speechless. There were so many questions that I couldn't even finish. How could I remember what I did? I must have done more questions from the teacher. What's wrong? Are your questions good? Zhuo Yichen played with the phone in his hand and smiled slightly proudly. Of course they're good. My questions were all given to me by Sister Chu Xiang. She bet on a few types of questions. I was completely led by her to King of Kings. Xiazhou said regretfully, if I had known, I would have only done the questions you gave me. Why didn't you do it earlier? You did the questions given to you by Sister Chu Xiang? Zhuo Yichen rolled his eyes and adjusted his collar in front of the mirror. You should be content. 530 points is already very good. We were admitted to the Film Academy. Didn't we get in? It doesn't make much of a difference if we get a high score in the future. Xiazhou complained. You're impressive again this time. You got in first place, didn't you? It seems like Sister Xiang has given you other jobs. Did she tutor you on the style of the directing department's major exam? Geng Xian hurriedly said. I also have to ask Sister Xiang for help. How much pressure did Xiao Ran and I get from you two this year? If we get more than 400 points next year, won't we be ridiculed to death? We're a team. How can you two just do it like that? Isn't it good for everyone to get 500 points together? Xiazhou pointed at Zhuo Yichen. You're blaming him. He's the only one who did it. Zhuo Yichen smiled and pushed them out of the door. There's no need to do it. Let's go. It's time for the interview. I'll tutor you next year, okay? No, we have to let Sister Xiang guess the questions. She actually got it right. She's too awesome. Sister Chu Xiang doesn't have time. Don't disturb her. The 4 of them smiled and left the dressing room. The tense college entrance exam was over, and they were all relaxed. Everyone had a smile on their faces. During the interview, the 3 teammates even boasted about their captain's results. After all, it was really rare for a celebrity to get such a score. Their captain was their pride. The host specially asked Zhuo Yichen, I've always heard that your score was around 500 points. How did you manage to increase it by more than 100 points during the college entrance exam? Is it related to the rumors about you taking the exam on behalf of others? Did you want to get good results to show everyone? Zhuo Yichen smiled. No, I just happened to have a very good and strict private tutor. When I was in seclusion, I kept doing questions like crazy. In the end, I got this score. I was also very surprised. It's all because of the tutor? Then can you introduce this tutor to everyone? Maybe there will be a lot of students who want to be tutored by him in the future. Zhuo Yichen's smile didn't change, but he directly rejected him. The tutor doesn't intend to tutor students anymore. Maybe it's because the process is more tiring. I'm sorry. The three teammates glanced at him at the same time. Fine, it was different after entering a new stage in life. The domineering in his bones was becoming more and more obvious. What private tutor? Was he a private fan? This guy had always been very possessive. He hid it so secretly, but still revealed it. No one knew if he was showing off or expressing gratitude to Chu Xiang. In any case, no one had the chance to know who his private tutor was. Zhuo Yichen's high score of 628 completely shattered the rumors of him taking the exam on behalf of others. Once this rumor was destroyed, the series of scandals that were exposed at the same time were all discredited. Compared to his other aspects, his results made it easier for him to gain Lu Rao's favor. No matter what kind of tutor he had, if he wasn't smart enough and worked hard enough, he wouldn't have been able to get such a score. Zhuo Yichen once again proved his excellence, making his fans extremely proud. It also made many passers-by start to take this young man seriously. He had grown up and gone to university. He was good at singing, dancing, acting, and studying. This was the child of another family. As long as he maintained this serious attitude, he would definitely become more and more outstanding in the future. He really deserved the title of idol. Chapter 114. Zhuo Yichen had been in seclusion for the college entrance exam, and had stopped working for a few months. Once the exam was over, there was a lot of work waiting for him. Because he had been very popular recently and had a very good image, the resources he accepted were on a whole new level. Even his teammates benefited from it, and became positive teenagers in the eyes of the public. They thought that they had a bright future, so naturally, they received better resources. Zhuo Yichen had been shooting magazines, commercials, and dramas during the summer break. He was so busy that he almost worked non-stop. Chu Xiang was often asked to stay by the professor as his assistant, so she rarely had the chance to follow his schedule. Although she felt helpless, she was really interested in editing. She could learn a lot from the professor, so she couldn't miss this opportunity. Zhuo Yichen hurriedly reminded her when he found out. Don't let it affect your studies. Anyway, we're going to be fellow students soon. We'll have plenty of opportunities to meet. You can take photos whenever you want. Why do you have to work so hard to follow his schedule? Chu Xiang smiled and said, If your other fans knew about this, wouldn't they hate me to death? Zhuo Yichen was speechless. How is that the same? I treat you as a teacher, a senior, and a friend. How can we get along like we used to? Just like me and my idol. I couldn't even see him in the past. Now that I'm filming a drama with him and we're good friends, do you think his fans will hate me? I'm called a winner in chasing after idols. He even gave me a set of clothes in the same style as his. He smiled. Sister, you're also a winner in chasing after idols now. Are you happy? Chu Xiang thought about it and felt that it was true. She laughed. It seems that I chose the right major. I have the biggest advantage in chasing after idols. But don't you want to see your idol when he participates in an event? I definitely want to go to the front line, not just to take photos. Sigh, I've been really busy recently. I'll go when I have time. Zhuo Yichen felt a little embarrassed, but his idol was an award-winning actor. He was really excited every time he saw his idol and couldn't wait to follow his schedule. He could understand Chu Xiang's feelings. He cleared his throat and said, Then Sister Chu Xiang, you should take care of your body. Don't overwork yourself. You too. You're much busier than me. When Chu Xiang was concentrating on her work, she always had no distractions. Thanks to her energy, every time the professor gave her a task, she was able to exceed the quota. She was more and more appreciated by the professor, who wanted to teach her everything he knew. However, when she was free, she would still go to Zhuo Yichen's events. After all, She was a girl who chased after celebrities. How could she stay at home and do nothing? If she had the chance, she would definitely want to meet her idol more often. After the broadcast of Winter Vacation Travels ended, the viewership ratings remained at the top for the same period of time, bringing a lot of popularity to SJ Boy Group. Coupled with the things that had happened during this period of time, and their college entrance exam scores, their net worth had skyrocketed. The four of them were adults this year. Two of them had already celebrated their 18th birthday, which meant that they had entered the adult society. It was more suitable for them to fly solo and not disband, each of them developing in their own field of expertise. Therefore, Zhuo Yichen was now mostly doing solo work. His teammates were not around. Sometimes, Chu Xiang would book the same flight as him, and if they bumped into each other in the first-class cabin, she would change seats with his assistant. They would either chat or sleep and rest. It was just like how close friends would interact with each other. However, Zhuo Yichen was now a lot more cautious. If there were other fans present, he would not get close to Chu Xiang. He would also keep a distance from the female employees in the group. He knew that he could easily attract trouble. This kind of trouble did not only come from the outside, but also from his internal teammate, Du Wei, who was watching him and slandering him. He did not want to bring unnecessary trouble to the people around him. He had already realized that he was not strong enough. Therefore, before he became strong enough, he could only use the dumbest way to protect the people around him. When it was necessary to avoid suspicion, he had to avoid suspicion. Zhuo Yichen also did not easily show his true emotions in public. He did a good job of managing his expression. Just like the company had instructed him, he did not accept gifts and did not speak easily. He did not want to give the haters a chance to slander him. For things like fans picking him up at the airport and sending him off, he would only sincerely express his gratitude to them at the end. Like other very mature idols, he put away the innocence that belonged to a teenager. He finally understood why Chu Xiang was so soft-hearted and naive when they first met on the plane. She was easily deceived and asked him to protect himself. It turned out that sometimes, it was just a matter of making more mistakes and making fewer mistakes. His appreciation for his fans could be reflected in every fan welfare, interview and gift-giving event. He could no longer smile and chat with his fans at the airport like when he first debuted, and accept their gifts. Growing up would inevitably bring many restrictions. When his every move would be magnified and interpreted, he could no longer laugh and joke like a child. But in fact, this was also a good thing. He worked hard to improve his professional skills and bring more and better works to his fans. That was the best way to repay his fans. He wanted all his fans to know that they were not fans of the wrong person. Chu Xiang had been an idol for a lifetime, so she understood the knack of this. She was really surprised to see the changes in Zhuo Yichen. She had only known Zhuo Yichen for a few months, but Zhuo Yichen had grown so much. He had lost his childishness and became mature. It was really difficult. This proved that she had not misjudged him back then. Zhuo Yichen's progress was very steady. He always knew what he was doing. His growth rate was the fastest among the four youths. He was indeed her idol. Chu Xiang also gave up wearing red to avoid trouble. She did not want to be surrounded by fans and take photos of her. Every time she followed Zhuo Yichen, she wore a mask. Anyway, there were other sisters who wore masks, so it was not strange. This way no one would know that she was Zyc Xiang. Zhuo Yichen was acting as the second male lead in a TV series during the summer break. The TV series was an excellent production project. The lead actor was Zhuo Yichen's idol, the movie king Xiao Qian. This was the only TV series that Xiao Qian had filmed in 10 years. The rest of the time, he had filmed movies. Zhuo Yichen was very excited to work with his idol. He put in 120% of his effort during the filming. His acting had always been good. This time, he had studied hard and received guidance from Xiao Qian and the director. His acting skills had improved by a lot. Although the busy work was very tiring, he was able to work with his idol and gain a lot. This was the best and most meaningful summer break. During the interview, Zhuo Yichen was asked if he regretted not being able to travel after graduation. He laughed. Not at all. Traveling can be done at any time. The opportunity to work with my idol is too rare. I feel that filming this TV series during the summer break is the best gift for me." The host laughed. "Even if you want to travel, you won't be able to go whenever you want. You are so busy that you don't have time. However, this shows that Xiao Qian is much more important to you than traveling. Now many people on the internet are saying that you are a winner. What do you think?" Zhuo Yichen tried to control himself not to laugh too happily. However, the corners of his mouth were still raised. He happily said, "I think so too." "Then, do you have any advice for your fans? Do you want to impart some of your experience to them?" "Of this, I don't think I have any experience. After all, I never thought that I would be able to work with Brother Qian. This was a completely unexpected surprise. However, I feel that the most important thing is to work hard and be yourself. That is, study hard and improve well. Then, you may have the opportunity to meet your idol and become a winner like me." Zhuo Yichen laughed out loud and joked with everyone. The interview ended happily. His words also made #StarChasingWinner trending. Everyone was discussing the topic of the star chasing winner. If you want to be a winner, you have to mention the wife of Adonis. She listened and became a fan of Adonis. She would go to every event. In the end, she successfully attracted the attention of Adonis and married him. I don't know if this inside story is true. If it is, it seems very encouraging. After all, she was very outstanding to be noticed by her idol. There is also an actress. She filmed with her idol and then married him. Now the two of them are very sweet. Do you know who she is? Should I enter the entertainment industry? Then you have to do well. After all, there are so many people in the entertainment industry. In the end, your idol will only marry one person. Now that I think about it, I'm suddenly glad that Xiao Qian and Zhuo Yichen are both men. Otherwise, a fan and an idol might become a couple when filming together. Aren't there many people who fall in love because of filming? Why are you all not getting married? There are also a lot of winners in the same gender. Didn't that girl become best friends with her idol? There is also Xiao Ran. He went to his idol's concert as a guest. They even ate and played football together. I think only his idol can cure his laziness. There were a lot of famous winners in the entertainment industry. Some of them didn't deliberately get close to their idols to do anything. They just wanted to become more outstanding. If their work or life overlapped with their idols, then they would naturally connect. After connecting more and more, if their personalities were similar, then they could become friends or even husband and wife. After all, celebrities were also people. They were people with feelings. This was a normal relationship between people. After this discussion about winners in the entertainment industry, the topic finally fell on hard work and hard work. It was proven that if fans only wanted to be lazy, then they would never become winners in the entertainment industry. Because this topic was first started by Zhuo Yichen, stars left messages for him, saying that they should work hard. Even if they couldn't become winners in the entertainment industry, they shouldn't embarrass their idols. Many fans also showed off the exercise books they had bought, saying that they should learn from their idols as role models. It was very inspirational. Zhuo Yichen officially entered university and became a freshman in the Film Academy's directing department. Xiaozhou was studying acting. The two of them hadn't been filming recently. During military training, they had shaved their hair and were tanned. Someone took a picture of their new look and nicknamed them the Charcoal Twins. Of course, this was just a joke. Although they didn't look as handsome as before, their good looks supported the buzz cut. Their skin was also a little darker. Inexplicably, they looked a little tough. People sighed that the young man had really grown up. There were also directors and investors who noticed their new look. The two of them received a new type of script, which was a fight scene or an anti-war military film. It could be said that they had opened up a new path for acting. The director of the movie that he had wanted to steal during his childhood finally contacted Zhuo Yichen. Back then, the incident had caused such a huge commotion that Zhuo Yichen had fallen from being an A-lister to being a nobody. Naturally, the director no longer considered him. However, he still planned to observe Zhuo Yichen. Now that he saw that Zhuo Yichen had steadily improved in all aspects and that there were no problems with his image and acting skills, He called him over for the audition. Zhuo Yichen's dream was to be a director. However, he had just started learning about directing. In the future, if he wanted to be an independent director, it wouldn't be easy. Before that, he still had to act well and accumulate experience from the crew. Naturally, he couldn't ask for more if he could act in a movie by a famous director. He prepared for the audition very seriously. He read the original version of the movie carefully and wrote the character biography carefully. After that, he still felt a little uncertain and called Chu Xiang. Sister Chu Xiang, your mentor, Professor Lin, seems to have a good relationship with Director Chen. Have you heard of Director Chen's preferences when choosing people? I'm going to the audition tomorrow, so I'm a little nervous. Chu Xiang was stunned. Director Chen? You're going to audition for Director Chen's Fleeting Years? That's right. Sister, you have a part to play in this. Previously, you wanted to fight with me for the male lead role in Fleeting Years. Zhuo Yichen closed his book and lay on the sofa with his phone. He said with a smile, "Thank you for helping me get such a good resource, sister. I can't let you down. I have to get this role." Chu Xiang was stunned by his voice and asked, "Did your voice change? Why does it feel different from when I first met you?" "Is it? Maybe. It should have become thicker in the past 2 years," he joked. "It must sound better than before, right?" Chu Xiang smiled. "You're too narcissistic to praise yourself. However, it does sound good. I'll definitely go to your concert at the end of the year. It'll definitely be a hit." Zhuo Yichen laughed out loud and teased, "Sister Chu Xiang, do you know that you have a nickname now?" "What nickname?" "Jiangjiang's #1 star boaster. The comics you've drawn recently have been praising me. No fan can compare to you. They've given you the #1 spot." "Haha, I'm very honored. I can't help it. My idol is outstanding, so it's only right for me to be praised." Chu Xiang thought of the serious matter and laughed. "What are we talking about? Director Chen doesn't look at anything else when choosing people. He only looks at acting skills and character compatibility. Your image suits the character very well. Do you know what your biggest advantage is? It's a photo of you during military training a while ago. The script of Fleeting Years has been changed. There's a plot where the male lead is in dire straits. Director Chen definitely thinks you're suitable for it. You just have to act well during the audition." Zhuo Yichen looked confused. "Huh. Sister Chu Xiang, how do you know so much about it?" Chu Xiang smiled. "Me. Coincidentally, my mentor, Professor Lin, is the chief editor of Fleeting Years. She promoted me to be her assistant and brought me into the crew. So I've already read the script." Zhuo Yichen was stunned. Gao Xian said, "Then we can work together when the time comes? You're in front of the stage and I'm behind the scenes. We might not have many opportunities to meet. When the time comes, I'll visit you on set and bring you delicious food." Zhuo Yichen thought about it for a moment. His mood fell, but he maintained his smile. "Forget it. There are too many people and I don't want to trouble you." When Chu Xiang was an idol, she didn't care about any rumors, or scandals. As long as she was happy, she would not be restrained by anything, because she felt that fans who would leave her sooner or later. Those who would truly be her fans in the end would definitely like her character and her works. It was impossible for them to leave her fans because of inexplicable matters. She cherished her fans. Of course, they were all fans who loved her. However, she wasn't afraid because she had the confidence of several lifetimes. There were many other paths she could take. She didn't treat the entertainment industry as her own dream. Therefore, she wasn't afraid of being dragged along. Zhuo Yichen liked to sing and dance on stage. His dream was to be a director. He had never thought of taking another path. Therefore, before he became strong, he had to be careful with his words and actions. He didn't want to give anti-fans and opponents a chance to show off and hurt the people around him. Chu Xiang felt a little sorry for him. She said softly, "You're already doing very well. You don't have to take care of everything." Zhuo Yichen smiled helplessly. "No, I don't even have my own freedom. I can't even make decisions when I'm in danger. If I want to relax, I have to at least wait until I'm independent. How many years do you have left on your contract?" 2 years. It won't be long. Zhuo Yichen smiled. Okay, Sister Chu Xiang, don't worry about me. I'm fine. If you want to gain something, you have to lose something. It's fair. I just don't want to implicate the people around me. Anyway, I'll know who I'm close to. I don't need the public to judge me. It'll only add to the trouble. Chu Xiang sighed. You're like an old man. All right, it's good that you know what you're doing. Okay, I know what I'm doing. After Zhuo Yichen hung up, he lay on the sofa and thought about a lot of things. After a long time, he picked up the character biography again. He found out about Director Chen's focus from Chu Xiang, so he was much more confident. He acted as the main character in front of the mirror and practiced until late at night. In the end, his acting skills stunned Director Chen during the interview. Director Chen asked him to change his clothes and act in a down-and-out scene. Zhuo Yichen was put on a very miserable appearance by the makeup artist. He acted in ragged clothes and didn't look out of character at all. He cried and laughed when he should, which made Director Chen very satisfied. Director Chen asked, "You acted well. As you can see, the script has an additional plot. In this movie, you don't just have to act ugly. You have to completely abandon your image to perform well. Think about it carefully. Can you abandon your image?" Idols usually played handsome characters. No matter what the theme was, their image was always very good. After all, many people were fans of their idols' looks. Some fans only liked the handsome aura of their idols. When they saw such a sloppy appearance that subverted their image, some of them would definitely not be fans. The number of fans who left varied from person to person. One had to consider the impact on oneself when filming such an image. Zhuo Yichen replied firmly, "A good actor doesn't care about his image in order to film a good movie. Don't worry, Director Chen. I'll put my heart and soul into the role. There won't be a problem." Director Chen nodded. "Okay, then this role is yours. Go back and prepare. Wait for the notice to enter the set on time." Zhuo Yichen bowed politely. "Thank you, Director Chen." He immediately told Chu Xiang and the three brothers the good news. "I passed the audition. Gengxian, Captain, you're awesome. Treat us to a meal. Make an appointment with the schedule. Hurry up." Xiao Rand. Thumbs. JPD. Congratulations. JPG. Xiaozhou, you're amazing. This is the rhythm of the movie. You have to treat us. See you in the cafeteria in the afternoon. Zhuo Yichen laughed and shook his head. Treat us to a meal. Just make an appointment with the schedule. It was extremely difficult for the four of them to get together now. How could it be so easy to treat them to a meal? Chu Xiang was the last to reply. After congratulating him, she sent him a detailed analysis of the character, and which details of the performance would be most likely to be highlighted in the editing. Sometimes, the director's ideas might not always be correct. This was because the editing after the editing might not be as good as the director had imagined. At this time, the editor could give his own ideas and suggestions to the director. In the end, the director would choose a better version of the editing. Therefore, all the information that Chu Xiang sent to Zhuo Yichen was solid, which benefited him a lot. From another perspective, he understood how actors should express themselves. This kind of kindness without asking for anything in return unexpectedly warmed Zhuo Yichen's heart. He saved the document on his phone, created a new folder, and even encrypted it. He thought about it. Ever since he met Chu Xiang, it seemed that Chu Xiang had accompanied him at every important moment. When he was in seclusion, Chu Xiang helped to create popularity for him. When he was criticized, Chu Xiang helped to tear down the haters. When he was in the college entrance examination, Chu Xiang tutored him. When he was filming, Chu Xiang analyzed the details for him. It seemed that many of the things that he had to carry alone were carried by Chu Xiang. Although Chu Xiang might not have thought of it this way, the truest feeling in his heart was that there was someone accompanying him. He was not lonely on this road at all. It was just like the fluffy earmuffs and heating pads that winter, which filled him with warmth. Zhuo Yichen changed the name of the folder to Accompany. He did not know how long Chu Xiang would be his fan and how long she would accompany him, but he really hoped that she could accompany him forever. She was his most special fan. Zhuo Yichen reduced his schedule again. After studying hard in school for a period of time, He took a leave of absence to join the crew. This movie was a big investment, a big production, and a big director, so it had to be polished carefully. Not only did the director value it, but Professor Lin also valued it. She often brought Chu Xiang to the crew. The editor did not always edit the film in the room after receiving it. Sometimes, they also needed to watch the footage on the set and communicate with the director to create the best presentation. Therefore, Chu Xiang was able to sit behind the director and watch Zhuo Yichen film. Zhuo Yichen was surprised to see Chu Xiang. He did not expect Professor Lin to come personally and even bring Chu Xiang along. Chu Xiang secretly cheered him on. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly, but he quickly returned to normal and immersed himself in his role. This was Chu Xiang's first time seeing Zhuo Yichen film. However, she had seen Zhuo Yichen's idol drama last year. In just a year, Zhuo Yichen's acting skills had improved by leaps and bounds. It was no wonder that every time his 3 teammates talked about him, they were convinced. He would work hard to improve what he wanted, and he was not afraid of hard work. He would always improve greatly, making them respect him as their captain from the bottom of their hearts. It was already a little cold in November. When Zhuo Yichen was about to go to bed, Chu Xiang ran to buy 2 boxes of hot drinks. When she returned, everyone was resting, so she distributed the hot drinks to everyone in the crew. When Director Chen saw this, he smiled at Professor Lin and said, "Your new disciple is very interesting." Professor Lin glanced at Chu Xiang and shook his head with a smile. She is a fan of the male lead. She is the girl who became famous overnight on the internet. Didn't she use the excuse of delivering hot drinks to chat with her idol? Young people have this kind of passion. Director Chen looked up and saw that Chu Xiang had indeed delivered the hot drinks to Zhuo Yichen. He chuckled and joked, "Then we can't let her interfere with the editing of this film. Why don't you edit it into an idol drama?" When Zhuo Yichen took the hot drinks, Chu Xiang said, "You acted really well. Good luck." Zhuo Yichen smiled faintly and nodded. He looked at her and said, "Let's do our best together." To outsiders, these 2 short sentences were probably just a thank you. There was nothing special about it. Chu Xiang quickly returned to Professor Lin's side and watched the finished film with him. Professor Lin finished watching in silence. He picked up the hot drinks and asked, "Which version of the film is better?" Chu Xiang quickly went through the images in her mind. She already had a good idea of the effect after editing. She said seriously, "Teacher, I actually think the NG version is better." At that time, the NG was because the letter in the protagonist's hand was blown away by the wind. However, at that moment, the protagonist was shocked by the contents of the letter. He was emotionally unstable and couldn't accept the truth. This scene can better reflect the impact on the protagonist's heart. As a result, his fingers unconsciously relaxed and he couldn't hold the letter. This is a side view. This detail can directly reflect the protagonist's inner feelings. Professor Lin nodded and found 3 more scenes for her to shoot. Chu Xiang thought for a moment and said, "The first version is the best." Here, a leaf fell on the male protagonist's face and blocked him for a few seconds before falling. The leaf was still a worm-eaten leaf, which ruined the overall good fortune. However, it's because of this that it echoes the male protagonist's downfall. I think there's no need to highlight the male protagonist's beauty here. It's better to show it with a sense of destruction. Professor Lin smiled in satisfaction and looked at Director Chen. "How is it? Can I edit it into an idol drama for you?" Director Chen pointed at her with his finger and said with a smile, "You're so protective of your child. Isn't it just a joke?" However, he was indeed surprised by Chu Xiang's sharpness in editing. He nodded and praised, "Not bad. You have the demeanor of your teacher back then. You can graduate." Chu Xiang smiled and said, "Thank you for your praise, Director Chen. It's all because my teacher taught me well. I still have a lot to learn." Okay. Just now, we'll edit these 2 scenes according to Chu Xiang's suggestion. Let's film 1 scene first. Director Chen liked Chu Xiang's suggestion very much, but the final decision still depended on the results. Professor Lin drank a few mouthfuls of hot drink and said to Chu Xiang, "Go and cut it. Practice." Director Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry when Professor Lin gave his own film to his disciple to practice. However, this also showed how much Professor Lin trusted Chu Xiang's ability. It seemed that this girl was very likely to inherit Professor Lin's mantle in the future. Young people often had more novel ideas and bolder experiments. He was also looking forward to what new elements Chu Xiang would bring to their film. Zhuo Yichen was filming in front, while Chu Xiang sat behind the director to edit the film. Although they didn't communicate much, they would occasionally look up and see each other. Chu Xiang often bought afternoon tea and hot drinks for everyone, so she quickly became familiar with the entire crew. In fact, she only found out that her brother was cold, or that he didn't eat much. Once, Zhuo Yichen was filming for half an hour in ragged clothes. After filming, he sneezed a few times. Chu Xiang bought tea to prevent colds and distributed it to everyone. Everyone praised her for being so considerate. Although Zhuo Yichen didn't say much to Chu Xiang, he could feel Chu Xiang's concern all the time. Just as he had thought, Chu Xiang had accompanied him all the way to this film that was so important to him. This wonderful connection on the same set put him in a good mood. He was full of energy every time, and he was always able to perform better than usual when filming. Occasionally, when he was close to Chu Xiang and heard Chu Xiang secretly praise him, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. Every time Chu Xiang saw his slightly arrogant expression, she wanted to laugh. Indeed, he still liked to act cool as usual. Even if he restrained himself to the point that it was hard for others to notice, he was still showing his best side all the time, especially in front of a fan like her. Little brother Chen was really showing off in all sorts of ways. The filming wasn't very heavy. After all, it had to be done meticulously, not quickly. However, Zhuo Yichen was especially busy. This year, the four brothers had all turned 18 years old. The company asked them to hold a coming-of-age ceremony concert for each of the 4 seasons. This was also their first solo concert. Now that the other 3 brothers had finished their concerts, his concert was set to be in mid-December. Therefore, every time he finished filming, he had to spend a lot of time practicing his dance and singing. He also had to discuss with the staff about various details that needed to be adjusted. In fact, he was very tired every time. However, because these 2 things were what he liked and he wanted to do, he didn't feel tired no matter how tired he was. At times like this, Chu Xiang's hot drinks were like a kind of comfort and encouragement. He didn't feel tired and empty as he always remembered that he wanted to become better and stronger. Of course, he had to work harder. He wouldn't let his fans down. That you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.